All right, players, welcome back to Nova Nostria. Um, I was thinking it might be fun to do what Mitch did and make one of you guys suffer your way through a recap. Thought that'd be really fun. See who was paying attention. You never know. Does
Okay.
anybody have a recap of the first session that they want to share with the class?
I could try.
Okay.
First we're with Melina, and the tent is falling down. And I see the other three people. I don't know who they are yet. And they're leaving, running. And then I think we go to the school next. And we see Burrows interact with what's his name? What is his name?
Someone want to help Annie out?
I was trying to think of his name.
It's in my
too.
notes. Hold on. Somewhere in here.
Is it Prima?
You got it.
Prima.
Prima or Prima. The it's like Han versus Han. Just go with your gut.
Okay, and the roommates ? Not okay.
They don't seem to be doing
For
particularly
some
well.
reason, yeah. For some reason, he's in trouble. There's a dragon involved. Melina helps. I forget her name again.
Selena.
Selena. And
Easy brownie points with us.
yeah. And then goes to Gammon. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
And Gammon's looking for his dance partner. And Melina's like, ooh, dance partner? Okay, I'll find him. I mean, bisexual. Anyways. Then we go back to the school again. Wait, yeah. And he goes, Burrows goes out to the training grounds and, doesn't want to blow his cover for some reason, because apparently he's there for, note-taking? And so he just stares at it really hard and it turns to stone. He hears a dragon laughing.
Notes. These are detailed notes. I love it.
He hears a dragon laughing faintly. Then I think we're on the road with Zana and Marko and Evren, and they set up shop. First we do a couple rolls, and then when they set up shop for the night, and they forgot the matches, so Evren does magic about it. And we fight
There's strange sounds in the
terraforms.
woods. Yeah.
They're strange sounds, and they mimic, and they are like deer object creatures, and we get them. And then we're in the cafeteria, and Burrows falls off a chair, and so Prima decides to do a big show to distract.
Like all the other mages, all the other students.
I think the clock tower. What is this? the clock.
Reading
It says, I think the clock town is now cursed. I don't know what that means.
Clock tower.
Yes, that's probably it. And then right under it, I have main course equals question mark, question mark, question mark. They find a burning hot ring in the fountain that is cursed. Marko learned Druidcraft. Evren learns Giantish. And then we get there, and Marko's like, I got a letter. I'm allowed to be here. And we're let in, and then we go to the blind man's Bailey? Is that what
Got
it's
it?
called?
Yep, you got it.
And we meet Burrows and Prima, and then Zana comes in, but Zana's already here. So you know what that means. The Paraform Prime is here. And so we get down to business. We kill it. And apparently that is the last one? Question mark? And because Zana got one as well. And we wrap up there. A woman comes in. It's a teacher, I think?
Yep. Professor.
And a professor. 1 second. What? There's an... What's the NPC list? Where's the NPC list?
Are you actually looking in Discord for the NPC list?
Yeah, I
It's
am.
it's in a thread called the NPCs of Nova Nostria.
Okay, that's pinned. That's not threads. 1 second. There we go. Her name is...
Leolda? Professor Fenric?
Fenric, yes. Fenric... Professor Leolda... Fenric?
Mm-hmm.
And, he's like, Burrows, you have to come with me. And then they exit with the professor. And we go to the barracks, and Melina and Marko have a conversation about voices in their head. And then we go to bed, and Marko sees a skull and asks, hey, what's your name? And then it's something.
You're
Starts with
so
a C.
close. You're so close.
Oh, I think. Wait, Carlisle. Is that it?
Yeah, you got it. All right. Well, I mean, I feel like that was the most in-depth recap we've ever had, and if anybody just straight up didn't want to watch the first episode, you could just watch this one. You'd be completely caught up. Do you remember what Melina advised Marko to do?
She asked, does your voice have a name?
Mm-hmm.
And he said no, and Melina was like, maybe you should ask or something like that.
Yes. Very, very interesting. Very, very fascinating. Okay. So with all that in mind, now that we are fully caught up, yeah, that was not attached to the memory of the skull. That was just rattling around in your head because of all this talk about Simeon Carlisle, this powerful mage who was one of the founders of the Mage College, and that little history thing rattling around in your head about your experience with that reanimated skull cursed item that the 3 OG players from the first story would remember that ended up getting snatched up and taken away by Osprey, who relieved Fiorucanus of it, because in his own words, he shouldn't have that, basically. But yes, so we begin this session with everybody asleep in their beds, nice and just chill, just sleeping away. And I'd like to start, if I may, if everyone would please roll me flat d20 rolls.
Play.
The D20.
Yep.
Yeah.
Regular old d20 rolls.
That's going to be a 7 for me.
16.
9.
8.
Oh my gosh.
9,
79.
8, 7, and then 16.
Okay. Let me make sure. All right, cool. All right. So, who rolled the 16?
Me.
Okay.
Marko.
With a 16 roll, as you went to sleep, again, you closed your eyelids, and then this memory of that talking skull, it had been bothering you all day long. Carlisle, where had you heard that name before? And it finally hits you just as you're about to drift off to sleep. That image of that skull voicing the name Carlisle to you. And it disturbs you only for a moment, and then you start thinking back on some of what Theo had talked about, how he'd visited the Mage College, that sort of thing, and you pass the night. You go to sleep. At roughly the 3rd hour of the morning, so this would be 3 a.m., about that time, you start having a dream. And it starts where the last dream that you had ended. The last dream that you had, Marko, was you standing up to face these looming figures who were opposing you, with this draconic figure sort of in the background, looming large over you, and yet you stand up and you stare it down, in essence. You don't run. You stand your ground. And your dream begins in that same spot where you, Marko, bereft of your armor, you don't have your armor with you, but you're standing there in this snowbank with this shadowy draconic figure standing over you. And its eyes burn with a red intensity. And though you can't make out its features, you can see that there is blood dripping from its mouth and onto the snow in front of it. And in real life, outside of the dream, though nobody's awake to see it, your dragon mark is glowing brightly. It's not burning you. It's not intense enough to wake you out of your sleep. But this is coinciding with each other, the activation of this dragon mark. And this draconic figure stares you down, and it says, "Good. You're not running."
Do I have any reason to run?
It laughs. What do you think?
Well, I don't think so. I want to get to the bottom of this.
A massive dragon tail loops around you and pulls you in close towards its body as it gets eye to eye with you.
Okay.
And as it gets closer, all of a sudden in the dream, the sort of details of what you're seeing start to fill in. and the sort of haze that surrounds this figure starts to clear. And you can see that the dragon scales of this massive creature are also almost a deep burgundy color. And you see that its face is just scarred and scratched to high heaven. This thing looks like it's been in 1,000 battles. And it stares at you. And then, almost like a snake, it flicks its tongue out, which is forked, and it just grazes the side of your head where the dragon mark is, and says,
"You haven't been making any more promises and oaths, I hope."
I just might have to.
It squeezes and tightens you just a little bit, and says,
"What makes you think you have a right to do so without consulting me?"
Please, there's no need to do this. Just help me understand. You look like you've been through a lot. I don't fully understand what's happening here. Help me and maybe I can help you.
There's a pause where its rage calms for a moment, and then it says, in a gentler voice, but somehow its gentler voice seems more off-putting. Like if it shouted it, it would seem more natural. But for it to say what it's about to say in this tone is more frightening. And it gets closer to your ear and just says,
"You are mine."
So that's how it's gonna be. Well, I'm ready. Whatever you have coming my way, I'm ready for it. But it really doesn't have to be like this.
the dragon again starts laughing. With the end of its tail, it drags it into the snow that's around you and pristinely makes the same shape in the snow that you recognize from any time you've ever looked into a reflective surface, that this is your dragon mark that this creature is scrawling out on the snow. And again it says,
"You are mine."
Elder of the game.
Well, we'll just have to see about that.
The figure says,
"Your defiance is sweet, sanguine. I love the fact that you resist. A warrior such as you ought to think that way."
Well, I don't know what your business is with me, and I assume my brothers and sisters, but this is what we were trained for. And I got friends.
Are you so slow that you think that you are slated for destruction? If that were so, you would not be alive.
Then work with me. Tell me what I must do.
its hold loosens on your body, and it sort of slithers away from you and turns its head up in the direction of the sky, which you can see now that the heavy gray clouds that were there start to break, and a bright light coming from above shines down in a visible stream of light. And this huge red dragon looks at that beam of light and then looks at you and says,
Godhood. That is what I want. Do you know how many people, over the centuries, have craved an opportunity to stand in my presence?
Okay, well, maybe you can have it. We don't have to be, like a jerk about it or anything.
it sails towards you and gets right back in your face. And it says,
I need warriors.
Okay. I'll do what I can to help.
You haven't even asked what I can offer you.
Which is?
Glory. Through blood. Through war. Through combat.
Is this glory you speak of? Is it just?
Just!
it squirms around in the snow like a snake that's been hit with a stick. And he hisses again in your face and says,
If this world were just, then myself and my siblings would not be relegated to myth and legend. We would be worshipped, true children of Bahamut like we ought to be.
I'm sorry that happened to you and your siblings. Truly.
This is good. You will be most helpful. You will be one of my warriors, yes?
As long as there's no innocence, I don't see a problem. I won't harm those that don't deserve my fury.
And if I were to tell you who to kill?
We've only just become acquainted.
The dragon takes a beat and says,
Yes, I suppose this is our first meeting, but one of many.
Oh, I'm sure. Look, I have some lines that I just can't cross. Won't cross. But I do swear to help you where I can.
The dragon cocks its head to the side and says,
War, little one, is not clean. It is not tidy. There are no lines in war.
You're right, but I do what I can not to muddy things.
The dragon once again looks off in the direction of the ray of light that's breaking, these god rays coming down. And he turns to you and says,
Think very carefully about who you wish to serve. body and soul. Strangers who can offer you nothing, or me.
Why not both? You're obviously very powerful, and they give me much love and companionship.
When I say that you are mine, there is no halfway about it.
Okay, well, whatever dealings we have, can you promise to leave them out of it? They won't cross you.
I care not for them. They are not marked by me, nor any of my siblings.
Oh, well, that's good. Quite a relief, actually. And it is an honor to be speaking to a dragon, by the way.
Yes,
Really great.
it is.
It's a little freaked out, but
Keep yourself from death. Otherwise, you'll be no use to me.
well, fortunately, that's one of my lines. Gotta keep living so I can keep helping.
It, again, gets very close to you and looks you up and down and says,
You have the bearing of a knight.
Oh, well, thank you.
its whole body twists and curls around you. So now its head is off to one side, and again, just speaking right into your ear, says,
I will be your liege lord.
There we go. That sounds great.
It should.
it uncoils and travels a distance away from you and turns its face towards you, and it says,
Raig. That is my name.
I was going to ask. Raig.
How do you spell that?
that is simply R-A-I-G.
R-E-I-G. Awesome.
Well, it was nice talking with you. Honored to meet you. Hope I know a bit more of what I'm doing next time we meet, and maybe a little less antagonism.
Raig looks at you, eyes aglow with fire and fury, and again, mouth just dripping with blood through its teeth, says,
I am the Dragon Lord of violence and war. Antagonism is just part of who I am.
I suppose if that's what you were made to do. Yeah, that explains a lot.
You too, Marko, must be who you are. Stormherder.
and just as he says Stormherder to you, you snap out of the dream. You awaken in a cold sweat, with your dragon mark glowing. Everyone else around you is asleep.
probably like just like patting it, trying to like ease this like sort of pins and needles feeling. Just be like, storm herders aren't like that anymore.
Who rolled the 8?
Me.
Ah, okay. All right. So, Burrows, safely tucked in bed in your dorm room. Prima, of course, snoring loudly above you from the top bunk. Sleep is difficult, knowing that in the morning you will have to face this special council that the professor told you about the night before. And it's a difficult thing, finding rest during the night. But when you finally drift off, there are just passing images of two figures, sort of shrouded. It's hard to make out any discernible features, but in your heart, you know that these silhouettes are your mother and father. And they don't get further away, but they also don't get closer from where you stand. You're almost in a white void space. They're just close enough that you understand who they are. And when you reach your hand out to sort of flag them down, you can see your lizard folk hand. You can see your hand reach out. And when your hand goes back down, their figures are gone. And that very moment is when, Burrows, you are awoken by a knock at your door.
I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear it and pull my covers over my head.
The knocking comes again, harder this time.
I will reluctantly pull these sheets off of my body and try to clamber out of my bed.
Okay. You go to the door, probably sheets trailing behind you, still like, are you still like wrapped up, or are you?
Sure. Yeah, let's say very groggy, half asleep still.
Yes, of course. Got you right in the middle of REM. So you undo the latch and you open the door a crack, and you can see that it's Professor Leolda. And she says, "Well, I hope you're ready. It's time."
I'm not, but I don't think they'll make any allowances for that.
She gives you a smile, and she says, "Be ready in the next few minutes."
I will give her a nod and go to try and clean myself up before I'm brought before the jury.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, you get all your stuff together, and of course, Prima sleeps all the way through this. He's a heavy sleeper, doesn't notice anything going on. And you gather your stuff, and you meet Professor Leolda outside of your door, who she starts walking you into a part of the school that you've never been before. This is usually off limits to students. It's where a lot of the faculty have either lounges or private conference rooms. And she leads you into these sort of snaking tunnels into an older part of the school that, again, is mainly just used for storage at this point. The students are all in the relatively newer side of things, in the newer structures. And as she's walking you to this location, she reminds you, I wish that I were on this council. I truly do. Whatever you do, you must be careful what you say. I know that the situation is highly frustrating, but whatever lenience you have with someone like me, you will have none with this council. You understand this?
I'm well aware.
Good. She walks you to two large doors, and she raps on it with her knuckles, and the doors open, and she kneels down on one knee, this purple tiefling, and she puts a hand on your shoulder, and with a sincere look in her eyes, she just looks at you, and she gives sort of a solemn, encouraging nod.
I sort of fail to meet her gaze, kind of look past her and awkwardly nod and walk into the courtroom.
Okay. Upon entering, it is a very dimly lit room. It is circular, and you're walking into the lowest point of the room, and there are seats, stone seats, that go up in sort of concentric circles, up and up and up. And at the highest point of this room, there are a multitude of cloaked figures. The only light coming in is through a small hole directly above in the ceiling that casts a sort of spotlight directly down onto a sort of pseudo platform where you can assume, based on how you walked in, that that is where you are supposed to stand.
Yeah, I'll just move right underneath that then, and I'll sort of, as I'm walking forward, glance around and see. Is there anyone else in the room yet? Am I the only one in here, or is it too dark to tell?
It's just you and these hooded figures up at the top. All these people in cloaks. And once you are sort of center stage, one of these figures stands up from a sort of a central chair. You could infer that this is the head of this council. Starts this way by saying,
Edmond Hafburrough, you have been summoned here to stand before this special council in order to incur our scrutiny following the incident that you instigated in Grand Mage Simeon Carlyle's private study, which, though you had been thoroughly warned not to enter under any circumstances, proceeded to do just that. Am I accurate to the facts thus far?
Correct, though I noticed you have failed to bring any of my co-conspirators.
this figure raises a hand for silence and says,
I must speak truly. We brought you here this morning to hand down our judgments regarding your future at this school, because of your reckless behavior that has not only done damage to the premises, but also put your life and future in danger. That being said, something has come up, and this council now has a different fate in mind for you.
and at this, we cut over to the other players who are just waking up. And the reason you're waking up is because all of the soldiers that are in this garrison all have to wake up at a certain time, early rising. And so it's not something that you can just sleep through. It's all these guards getting up out of their bunks and out of their beds, strapping on their gear, and moving out of the room down into the mess hall that is a floor below to get supplied with food for the day. Go ahead. So Marko, Evren, and Melina, why don't you each roll me a perception roll?
Okay. 1 second. Perception check.
That's a 12 for Evren.
That's a 23.
Okay.
That's a 10.
Okay. So, Marko, when you sit up out of bed, it took you a while to get back to sleep after the very intense dream that you had. So you're a little bit groggy when you first wake up. Melina, you would be the first to notice that Zana is not in the room. And then very shortly afterwards, Evren.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that her bed is not made. So, she was definitely there and slept in the bed last night. You all saw her and everything. But she is not in the room. And the only other figure that's anywhere near this room who's not just a guard getting up and leaving is there's that little outpost area where you guys walked in initially on this ground floor that Eustace informed about the paraforms and everything, and they had the herald go out, ring the bell and everything. So there's like a stationed guard that's sort of just outside the room that you guys are staying in a kind of antechamber. That's the only one, that's one way in or out, essentially. But you guys are up for the day now.
I kept just sleepily putting my armor on,
Hello. Okay.
feeling up my dragon mark. That is
How
barely
early is
visible.
it? Is it like super early or is it like time to get
I'm
up?
going to say that it is around 7 in the morning.
Oh boy. I think Evren's gonna be woken up. She's gonna be very annoyed about it. Like, what? It's too early. Why do we have to get up with them? And then she's just gonna.
Oh, Evren, this is the life of a soldier.
I
say very
hate this. And she's just gonna get up and start getting
Did,
That's
herself
what
ready.
you have to do when you're going off to war.
I'm not going off to war.
I'm from the
Oh.
woods. That's not something I do.
Just like the war as in our quest against evil, I mean.
Oh, yeah, I totally have a
War on
quest against evil.
Yeah.
Does your friend normally get up and leave in the middle of the night? Is that a thing? Is that for real?
No, I think
Zana's not here?
that's new. She used to not do that. She probably had a reason.
She usually goes into a sort of trance, if anything.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a reason for everything.
Well, let's hope she's okay.
She's fine. She can handle herself.
I'm sure she had a good reason.
Well, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get food.
That sounds great. I would love to get food.
I'm gonna miss the crocky bee breakfasts. Let's hope
Uh,
they have some. Maybe they have some good cuisine here.
I doubt it. We're in the. Yeah. And just.
Well, let's find out first.
Unless Selena is here cooking the food, I highly doubt it.
Maybe
Selena,
Selena has a distant relative here.
Maybe.
She was the one that was trampled.
Trampled? When?
When the tent fell down. Duh. I had to pick her up.
Oh, so yeah, you were there with the carnival for the investigation
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
during the whole
She
wolf
almost
crisis.
died.
Well, thank you for saving her, making sure she was safe.
All in a day's work.
Oh, gosh.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
go to the mess hall now. She's just gonna start going.
Evren,
Melina?
why are you going away so fast?
I am
We're
hungry.
supposed to be friends.
I'm-
You and my brother are going to,
We're gonna what?
date.
Okay, I'm gonna go
Just
get
had
breakfast.
a
And she's just
warming
gonna
up about it.
Gammon's not here! And she's just gonna keep walking to the wherever we go to eat.
As whoever of you is making your way out that direction, again, you would have to pass this one guard who's in this sort of little outpost area, who's standing behind this little stone wall, and there's sort of a countertop, and you can see some supplies back there, some parchments. And who's the first of you who's trying to go down into the mess? Evren?
Probably
Everyone.
me, yeah.
Okay.
Followed by me.
Yeah. As you guys are making your way down that direction, there's a set of stairs that go down just across from this little outpost. It goes down into a lower level where the mess hall is. This guard standing there, who you saw last night when Eustace interacted with him, says,
All three of you will be going down into the mess? Yeah, all right. Just need to get a head count. Your, glowy friend got, picked up this morning by some, professor from the college. Named Spindle, I think?
and then he looks at a piece of paper and says,
Yeah, Spindle. Little goblin fella, snappily dressed, spectacles. He came to collect her because he said it was urgent. Said I should tell y'all.
We don't know any Spindle.
Well, we don't know anybody here, I don't think.
All I know is your friend seemed awful excited. She said she could not wait to start her first day of her new job.
So she left willingly, and seems in good spirits?
Yeah, it seems like the two of them had met before.
Oh, well, that's reassuring.
Well, I mean, if Zana trusts them, then sure. Like I said, she can take care of herself, so I'm not too worried about it.
you hear Eustace call from downstairs in the mess hall, "You guys coming down here or what?
Working on it, Eustace.
Oh,
I saved you all spots."
Oh, thank you.
you're such a doll. I'm gonna go eat.
That sounds great. I'm gonna
Melina.
go with you.
Go for some hot cakes or a nice beef broth stew.
I wonder if
Something
they have
along those lines.
bacon.
Yes, yes.
You guys get down there, and the smell is unnoticeable. There are a lot of soldiers eating down here at pretty full tables, with the exception of a table at the far end of the room where Eustace is waving you guys over. There's a very simple kitchen and a cobblestone furnace and some griddles that are in there heating up. And you can see that there are some basically griddle cakes going, very, very basic fare. There is some bread and like jams, and there does appear to be some bacon as well.
Awesome. I go for the bacon.
I think
Oh yeah, you guys assemble your plates however you want. It's literally like cafeteria style. You grab a plate, you load up, you sit down.
I go and I sit down at the table saved for us.
I
Yep.
do the same after
The
getting
heartiest
food.
breakfast I can.
Eustace lights up when you guys approach the table, and looking at you, Melina, he says, "The last time somebody called me a doll, it was an insult and I got in a bar fight. But when you said it, I think it's a compliment."
Well, it definitely was.
"How'd you guys sleep last night?"
Pretty good until the rest of the soldiers woke us up. Very early. I miss the groggy
Well,
bee.
It happened.
Okay, all things considered.
I slept wonderfully.
"Marko, you all right, buddy? You don't look so good."
Yeah, well, it's no Montrace.
Well, yeah.
Maybe I just need to get used to it.
"Well, you know what they say, the Nova Nostrian Empire doesn't sleep. That's how you maintain order in a country our size with all of its populace."
Right. It's all for justice and security, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of justice and security and whatnot, that whole random thing that you said at the gate in order to get us in, so as it turns out, people have been talking about that. Some guards.
What was that about? When did you get a letter? I think I asked you that. I don't know. I'm still half asleep, but
Well, we were allowed to send mail, and well, the captain here got back to me. The general, rather.
See, I'm not surprised that you sent a letter to Thracius Tau, I guess, seeing as how I don't know when you sent that. I didn't expect you to send a letter off to the butcher, but I'm more surprised he wrote you back. Be
Me
perfectly
too.
honest. He's a very busy man.
I still can't believe it. I don't know if my name carries any kind of weight after Von Trace. I don't think anybody would vouch for me. I know I'm a bit of an unlikely candidate.
Oh, before I forget. Eustace turns around, goes into a little rucksack, and he takes out some pouches, some tiny little pouches, and he puts them on the table in front of you three. And he says, "The Peacekeeper instructed me to give these to you once we got where we're going. There's 20 gold in there for each of you."
Ooh.
Right.
Oh, that's nice.
Melina, this is, technically that's for Zana. Here, he looks around, and Eustace looks around, and then a little mischievous smile creeps across his face. And Eustace says, "Marko, you still got that letter on you from the general, right?"
Why, yes, if I ever find a place of my own, I'll probably frame it.
You mind if I hold on to that for just a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
He grabs hold of it very carefully, reads it, smiles, nods, and trots off upstairs back towards that little outpost area. And a few minutes later, he comes back downstairs, and he has a tiny little leather pouch, and he tosses it onto the table, and 20 gold pieces sort of spill out, and he gives you back the letter, and he says, "Well, there's your test run."
What'd you do?
I said that, I told him that the folks that the general was going to see needed some contingency while they're in town. They found themselves at a lack for gold, and, turns out this whole seal that the general put on here does, in fact, carry some weight in Evren. Shouldn't be surprised, but... Yeah, so, you, Melina, you can have 20, and then I'll, I guess, just give Zana the rest. I didn't see her up there.
I think she started work today.
Yeah, one
She
of the guards said she left with some goblin she knew, and she seemed very excited.
She hasn't even... She
Someone
hasn't
from
even
the
been here
college?
24... She hasn't even been here 24 hours, and she's already got a job?
Seems that way.
You know how
She's paving her own way.
You know how charismatic she is. She can smooth talk anybody.
I guess you're right. If Zana asked me for a job, I'd give her a job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if I didn't have any openings, I'd just make something up just to not hurt her feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, seems like you guys are gonna have an interesting day. I, woke up a bit earlier, and, let's just say there's some scuttlebutt around town.
What?
I, can't remember how much the Peacekeeper told you before we left Montrace about what you guys were needed for here, or whether or not you'd help out the Peacekeeper, here in Evren.
So a couple people have died.
Oh.
Shocker, I know. And so it turns out these murders, right? Let's just call them what I think they are. People have different theories. I just got a gut feeling, you know? Specifically after this morning. I think something may be off about these deaths, all right? I think there was another one. Last night.
Last night? But everything seems so normal outside of the shape changer.
Well, I mean, things can seem normal on the outside.
Well, I don't have a lot more details than that. You'll have to talk to the Peacekeeper. She was out and about in the wee hours of the morning, running some investigations, but I had to wait until it was fully light out in order for things to get underway. She'll probably be here any minute to collect you guys.
Oh, this is sounding
Sounds like
way
she
too
needs all the-
familiar.
She needs all
I
the help
better
she
eat
can
this
get
up
then.
real quick then.
Now just keep in mind, remember here, you guys don't have to get yourselves involved in this. To be perfectly fair, you guys are free to do as you please. All I ask as a favor to Lionel is that you hear her out. You know, it might be a lucrative job. Who knows?
It is what we
Well, I
came here to do
mean-
in the first place.
We did promise him we would
What else do you
look into it when we left Montrace, so...
And what else do you do for fun? Why not hunt someone that's killing people?
Eustace looks stunned and is like, literally so many other things. But you know, to each their own.
And Yvray?
I mean, in Evren, there's lots to do. You could...
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, hold on. Give me a second. No, I guess if you're not a student, the school's not much. I guess you could
Well-
visit the church. That's pretty cool.
I could
A lot of cool
stand in
stained
fountain.
glass.
And pretend it's a
Yeah.
pool.
You could go visit the park.
I don't think
You
they
could
would like that,
go-
Melina.
You could go back to the Blind Man's Bailey. You could, the Noirast isn't really a sightseeing thing. All right,
Lots
you
of
have a
fun.
point. There are a couple cool shops. You know, it's a college town. There are things to do. Matter of fact, I hear there's supposed to be a parade here coming up in the next few days.
Well, that's interesting. Parade for what?
It's a big military to do. Evidently, there was some sort of skirmish at the border, and it got sorted right quick. And so it's a military parade.
Fighting.
Well, maybe we can attend if we don't get too busy aiding the Peacekeeper. And you know, I actually would be interested in checking out that church. Seeing what kind of shrines they have there.
Why?
Oh, they got all sorts.
I just wanted to look into this Bahamut god.
That's specific.
Eustace shoots a look at you and says, "Hey, buddy. Hey. Hey. Look, I know you were originally from, like, the mountains, so I don't blame you for not being
Oh
up
no.
to date
Wait.
on certain
I
things."
I didn't say anything heretical, did I?
Depends on who you ask. Me, personally, I don't care all that much what you believe in. But, yeah, Nova Nostria doesn't like Bahamut at all. They
Why?
don't consider Bahamut a god.
Oh, I'd love to know why. Purely for research.
Oh, that's easy. It's because he's a dragon.
Oh.
That's
Oh.
it?
Yes, of course. You
You
guys
hate a dragon because it's a dragon?
don't read much religious text, do you? Like, you know, creation of the world.
The only
know-
religious texts I read are druidic rituals. That's about it. As far as my
The
knowledge
battle.
goes.
I
At
tried
happened.
of work at a circus, so I don't have a lot of books.
Oh, all right, here.
Anything
Let me
outside the mountain triad is beyond me.
let me do my best here. He takes a griddle cake, and he says, "Imagine this is everything that was created. Okay, this is our whole world. Okay." And then he takes some tater tot hash brown type things and puts them on top of the griddle cake and says, "All right, so these are the deities, okay? We don't know which came first, them or our world or vice versa. We're not sure, okay? Nobody really knows. How could somebody know?" And then he grabs a strip of bacon and says, "Imagine this is Bahamut." And then he takes the tater tots and the bacon and he just mashes them together. And then he says, "This was the great war that shook the heavens, okay? Bahamut tried to claim godhood through force. He, in his own dragony brain, equated power with divine status. Right? Big battle. Then Bahamut loses. So, to settle the score, Bahamut goes down to the mortal plane and, well, wreaks havoc. He does a lot of different things. He teaches people about solitude, trickery or backstabbing, violence and war, royalty, power structures, that sort of thing. And then, like, gold and greed. He basically gave all us mortal beings all of the foibles and bad stuff. Bahamut's the one who taught mortals all those things. Basically as a sore loser, I suppose. Because in his mind, if he couldn't attain godhood, he could at least sort of ruin the mortals by making them have all these problems so they'd be less, I guess, effective as servants of the deities. Kind of like trying to starve them out, I guess. If he makes a bunch of horrible people who don't serve any god or are just morally bankrupt, maybe the gods would sort of lose their power over time.
Well, that sucks.
And that's just coming from the perspective of someone who's indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
So it
that's
must suck bad.
it's what a lot of the religious texts, it varies slightly, but in pretty much all the stories, Bahamut is never painted as a good individual, ever. Well, sorry, I misspoke. All of the Nostrian texts don't. The Highguard Empire up there, they're a little bit different. They do view Bahamut as one of their divines.
I'd love to get more information on this.
Well, I mean, you could, if you end up talking to the general, you could ask him all about it. He fought in the wars. That's what the war was about.
How long ago was that?
Well, it's hard to say. It depends on which war you're talking about. I mean, the Highguard invasion happened probably 120 years back.
Oh, so it's been a long time. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, from that point, after Nova Nostria was created, its new borders drawn up, after that there were always some battles and skirmishes and wars at the border.
Why the sudden interest in Bahamut, Marko? I don't think I've heard you talk about him before, unless my memory's failing me, which it could be.
Just had a rather vivid dream last night. Just got me thinking. Maybe one of the scholars here at the college knows. I mean, those two students we met last night.
Yeah,
maybe
where are they at?
they
What
know
happened to
something?
them?
Didn't he have like a meeting or something?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Eustace looks confused as all get out. Did you guys meet someone at the Bailey? Students like to
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah, it's little. We met who was it? I'm forgetting.
Burrows and
Prima and Burrow.
Prima, who's Prima related to from Montrace? I forget.
Lochran.
Lochran. We met Lochran's younger brother, I think, sibling.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
Prima and their roommate Burrows is a little fella.
A little
He's
fella.
very useful. In the fight. Very skillful.
Oh yeah, I
So true.
heard about
everyone.
that. I heard about that.
Yeah.
And believe you me, the Peacekeeper heard about that too.
Which part? The part
fact
where
that
we
you
killed
guys-
the monster.
The fact that you guys didn't just kill one paraform, but you killed all of them, paraform prime included. That's no joke. When she asked me about it, I told her about you guys' work in Montrace. She
And,
was very impressed.
I mean, we are impressive, so that's not a surprise. But yeah.
Anyways, I best be getting on. I have to go restock and resupply the cart. I probably won't be in Evren for too much longer, unless, of course, I was delayed by something fun or interesting. That'd be nice.
What would you consider fun and interesting?
Well, I know that Karnak's not coming this way, so that's out. I'm not sure, really. Like I said, unless I get a directive about some prisoner transport stuff, I'm kind of just here.
So I have to get arrested, is what you're saying.
You don't want
That's
to
a
do
funny
that.
joke. But don't do that, because it would be very easy to get arrested here.
I know.
Like, very easily.
What if I step on the grass when the sign says "Do not step on grass"? Do I?
And you'd get arrested. Yes, you would get arrested.
They're that petty
Well,
here.
I told you guys, there was a guy who got locked up for stealing an apple.
Oh my god.
Granted, that was a little
funny.
while ago. Things have gotten a little bit less strict, but there was a period of time in Evren where it got kind of insane. The sort of stuff that they would lock people up for.
I thought my elders were
Why?
strict. Wow.
The prison back behind the Mage College, they call it the Vault. That thing was full of prisoners.
But like, why were they so strict for a while?
I don't know. I'm not a lawmaker.
You do know a
All I
lot.
know is after a while, it just sort of tapered off, I guess.
Well,
It's at this point that we will cut back to Nick in the council chamber. And this figure carries on with what he was saying.
At about the 4th hour of the morning, an inebriated orc stumbled across the corpse of a man named Craddock. At least that's what he claims. He's being held at the prison until he can be questioned. Here is what you're going to do. You will act as a liaison from the college, and you will follow the details of this inquiry to whatever end. We must know everything that the Peacekeeper knows. You, of course, understand the importance of knowledge, young Master Edmond.
I understand this is some sort of punishment, but surely there's a more efficient agent you could use for this delicate task.
This hooded figure stares at you and says,
This is not punishment. This is what mercy looks like, young man.
and he stands up, and the other figures start standing up, kind of like, that's it, we're done. And the door behind you magically opens. And just as people are starting to pack up, the main figure who you just had that interaction with raises his hand and says,
Wait,
and then the doors slam shut on their own. And then he says,
there is something else.
a few voices rise in protest. But this primary speaker removes his hood and reveals the current Grand Mage, Masman Highmore. He's a high elf with a well-trimmed beard. He looks at you and he says,
What do you know of alchemy?
What do I know of alchemy? Let's
why don't
see.
you make a history check?
All right, 24.
Wow.
With a 24, you would know that in this universe, alchemy is primarily, I would say 98% of the time, alchemy is about potion mixing. It's about how finding out how different chemicals interact with each other to make potions, right? So that's pretty much the breadth of what you would know, because in a general sense, that's like pretty much right down the line what alchemy is in the D&D handbooks, like if that was a class.
All right, so I would, I'm pretty knowledgeable. So, let's see. Well, I certainly have had no shortage of classes about the subject. I'd like to think I'm fairly knowledgeable.
At one point in time, alchemy was illegal in Nova Nostria. I was approaching... well, it was some time ago. It wasn't until the war with the High Guard Empire that Devier realized the value of being able to transmute substances for crafting weapons. The death of Mr. Craddock bodes ill. You see, he, as well as the prior 2 recent deaths, they were all members of a secret fraternity that researched alchemy back when it was illegal. This fraternity.
And he gestures to all of the other cloaked figures. One of them yells out,
Masman, what are you thinking? You can't trust him with this.
and Masman looks at you, and he says,
Yes. As a matter of fact, I do. I'll tell you why. He has no one else that can help him right now. Without our aid, you would be sent packing back to your aunt in eternal shame. But if you do as instructed and gain all of the information we require, we not only will refrain from expelling you, but we will also find a way to help you out of your current, cursed situation. This council must know whether these deaths are targeted in any way. Gods know if one of us may be next. So, do you accept these terms, Master Edmond?
I would like to think about it more, but it doesn't appear like you're giving me much of a choice now, does it?
he sort of solemnly nods.
Any answer I could give would likely be a formality, but of course, I will handle this business quickly and efficiently, and we can see about my reinstatement into the college.
The doors behind you fly open, and again, the hooded figures start sort of packing up to leave. And as you're about halfway towards the door, Masman calls out after you and says,
Edmond, very few individuals, over the course of their lives, get the opportunity to undo their mistakes. You are a rare case indeed. Do not squander this niceness. If I hear that you've told anyone about the fraternity, I can make your life a whole lot more miserable than that old scrying stone. Report back any germane details at earliest convenience. Dismissed.
I will give a curt nod and bow, and I will immediately leave the council room.
okay, awesome, well done. We cut back to Marko, Evren, and Melina in the mess hall, and you hear the door of the building upstairs fly open so hard that it like hits against the wall. And you hear some commotion, some laughter from the guard upstairs at the outpost. And down the steps, swaggering with each step, is Peacekeeper Soph Wilder, who is wearing a black jacket and various accoutrements, rings, some necklaces, some visible tattoos that you'd probably see on someone from the coast, some sailors, and a cutlass at her side. And she comes down the steps and she looks across the room, and all of the soldiers all at once stand up at attention at their tables.
I'll just nudge the girls and try to do the same.
I'm already.
I stand up at attention.
I try to, do that as well.
We're like scooting the table forward a little bit on accident.
She scans the room with a very commanding air about her. And then she smiles to herself and says, "Oh, go back to your breakfast, you bunch of malcontents." And she laughs, and the soldiers awkwardly sit back down, and she slaps a couple of them on the back as she walks past them. And she walks over just directly to your table, and all three of you roll a perception check.
Okay, I'm gonna roll in here. Let's see. Wow.
14.
Okay. Great. That's a
Not
nat
the
one.
nat one.
Oh,
That's
wow.
the nat one.
Modified.
God damn it.
Modified 20.
I got a 14.
Modified 20. Okay, so with a modified 20, Marko, you can see that the cup of coffee that Eustace is holding, his hand is shaken as she approaches your table.
Oh.
And he is not looking up at her at all. And Melina, you would notice the same just a little bit afterwards. And she walks up behind Eustace and claps him on the back, and he starts, and his coffee leaps out of the cup just a little bit and comes back down, and he's just like sitting straight backed, just shell-shocked. And she says, "Well, you must be the little one who brought these great investigators to me." And Eustace shakily sets the cup down and takes his cap and lifts it respectfully and says, yeah, yeah.
Noticing that he might be a little uncomfortable, just be like, Peacekeeper, we are reporting for duty. We're the investigators behind the Montres case.
Oh, Marko, with your role, you see Eustace is not uncomfortable in that sense. He is blushing.
Oh.
Like crazy.
I hate her.
Wow.
I think as he says that, he would just have this like really dumb grin on his face. Not professional at all.
She says, well, I hope you all have eaten enough breakfast for today. I hope you're all ready to go.
Melina has like 3 or 4 just beaten plates already.
All right, Revere.
Oh my gosh, you really downed all that. Yes, we're ready.
Yes.
She looks at you, Melina, and she says, my personal best is 5, but 3's not bad.
I can do better next time. So I bet I can beat your best. Why my country?
What happened to Valley Girl?
It went to country for some reason. I gotta get it back, guys. I gotta get it back.
Hey, Noctis, what's up? Anyway.
The Peacekeeper says, well, it seems like somebody had a little bit of an incident last night, so I reckon all of you can help me figure out what's going on. Should be fairly simple. Looks relatively straightforward.
In what way?
Oh, someone took a tumble off a balcony.
That's,
Yeah.
Well,
that's a
if it was,
delicate way to put that. Yeah.
well,
But did you
with all due
like
respect,
test
it,
the body or something?
Pardon?
there has to be more to it.
Did you
It
test
can't just be that simple.
Well, that's what you all are for, isn't it?
Well, I could try to like look at it a little bit.
I was told that 3 top-notch investigators would be coming in from Montrace, and I count 1, 2, 3 of you, so we ready to go?
Give a look to
Well, if it
Melina.
were simpler,
like-
you wouldn't need us. Also,
I'm totally ready. Let's
probably
go.
4 of us.
Oh, by the divines, please help us. She kind of whispers under her breath.
Lionel spoke very highly of you, so I've got my expectations right up here.
Yeah.
Keep them there because we're the best.
So, you guys would follow Peacekeeper Soph Wilder up out of the mess hall, and she would walk you guys a fair ways into the city, which I'll transfer over to now. And you guys can see where the garrison is in the lower left-hand side of the city. And she would walk you up to the north, so you can see where the Arcanist shop is, right near the Mage College. She would take you guys up towards this area right here, and as you guys approach, you would see 3 guards who are posted up around a bundle of color on the ground. You can't make it out very well. But once you get closer, you can see that there is, in fact, a corpse on the ground. I'll transfer over here. Soph Wilder takes her position. You guys should be able to move your player tokens on there, and you should be able to control them if I did this properly, and it should remember who can control whom, I'm hoping.
I don't.
So if you go to the journal and you go to... If you go to the journal and you go to characters,
Boom.
Oh,
you should be able to click and drag your icon and then make sure you can move them around.
My character's not there.
Hold on.
Under characters, when you click the journal,
No, it's just the original.
I
Trio.
see Evren, Marko, and Zana.
oh, that's fun. Here,
Hold on.
what about that? Can you see that one?
Oh,
yes,
there it is.
yes,
All right,
yes,
there's
there it
something
is.
toggled where it wasn't showing to players. There you go.
Hold on.
All right.
Sorry, I'm just updating everyone's art real fast.
Yeah, for sure.
Melina gets all up close and personal with the body right away.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll wait until all of you guys are out onto the map.
Wait, how do I... Hold on. How do I drag it? How does this work?
Should
you
just be able to
drag it from the characters onto the thing. It should just have your name on it.
Oh, there we go.
And then you
Okay.
drop it.
Okay, perfect. Awesome.
Probably like right there. Yeah.
Okay. She leads you past the guards, who are almost in a kind of triangle around the perimeter, making sure that people aren't going to get close to the body. And right as you arrive, Burrows, you would approach from the direction of the school. So you can go ahead and drag your character out onto the screen as well.
Oh, shit, how do I do that?
Just click and drag. If you click on the journal on the upper right-hand side and you go to the characters section, Burrows should be an option for you to click and drag him out onto the grid.
Oh. I think so. I can get, hold on. I'm clicking and dragging it, but it's not coming out. I'm feeling like a fool. It's in so the journal, characters, bio, and info, and then take the photo from that.
Click on the name. Click and drag the name. See if that works.
Should just be from the list of the journal.
Yeah, just a list. You
Ah,
there your
okay.
name.
I'm a genius.
Perfect. So
Let's go.
I'm going to scoot you back here because as you're approaching, one of the 3 guards would step in front of you. And you would have in your possession a document from the school to hand this guard. And when you show it to him, this guard looks at you quizzically and then waves the Peacekeeper over, and she would say to the players, "Hold on just a second, I'll be with you in a moment." She walks down, and she walks over towards where this guard is stopping you, Burrows, and he hands the Peacekeeper the letter. She scans it and says, "Well, this is highly irregular. Usually I don't like people from the school butting in on my cases, but I suppose it can't hurt to have another pair of eyes. All right, come on this way." She walks over back to the players, and so now Burrows, you can approach the other players.
All right. So, what do I see as I'm, walking up on the corpse? What are y'all doing?
That's a good question. What are the 3 of you doing? You just chilling? Just
I'm
standing there
getting
for a moment?
Up close and personal with the body. I want to maybe look for other places that could have been hurt.
Okay.
Or they say you took a tumble. Anything that would indicate that it wasn't only a tumble.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, I like this. So the 3 of them are staring down at this corpse, and visually, I guess this would be Melina would be the first to see your feet, Burrows, as you just stop and stand next to the body as well. So out of your periphery, Melina, you would just see Burrows approach and stop.
Oh my gosh! Hey, you're that guy from the bar.
Okay, I gotta figure out. I don't think he would even register meeting his people. I think so. Let me see. I'm gonna roll a d20 and see if he remembers.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. 10 or higher, he remembers. All right. Yep. 12. Oh yes, from the other day, the bar, strange gooey creature. Might I ask why a jester is inappropriately touching a crime scene?
I am an investigator. Excuse you, first of all.
Oh, my apologies. It's just you didn't really look the part.
Well, it's only as of today.
Yeah.
What brings you here? It's good to see you again.
I've met you once. Briefly, but...
Yeah, and we
Thank you,
bonded in
Isa.
the best way possible through combat.
I can already tell we'll get along swimmingly. Anyways, I'm here to investigate this body. The three of you, please don't make this any more difficult than it needs to be.
Oh, yeah,
You
First
don't
of
need
all,
to be
excuse
rude.
you. This is our crime scene we were specifically asked for.
Hey,
And like, what are you doing here?
help us, Melina.
You're being really
It's
rude.
okay.
I don't appreciate you talking to us like that.
Oh
Anyway.
dear.
Edmund's not even listening to him. He's
Yeah.
just checking over the body. He's kneeling over. He's looking for any possible
Melina
wounds.
is specifically getting between you and the body, getting in the way.
Okay.
Oh,
Just
Go
gonna,
ahead.
get
gracious.
embarrassment and start investigating the surrounding area, not the body itself. Just
Okay.
one. That's what he wants to do too. Just
Here's
because.
how we're gonna do this. Marko, go ahead and roll investigation to investigate the area around the body. Melina and Burrows roll contested strength checks. If you're
Oh, I
trying
can't
to
do that
brush
at all.
past her to view the body, go ahead and each of you make a strength check and see who wins.
All right,
boy.
16 minus 1, so 15.
So, I got an 8.
Okay. So that would mean that he is like just like liquid. He's so small that you just can't effectively block him from getting to the body.
I'm breaking your ankles on the court. Going right past you for a layup.
Meanwhile, Soph Wilder is standing off to the side, looking at you, and instead of there being any sort of, I don't know, disappointed or anything of the sort, she is just smiling, looking at the four of you.
Dodge and weave, dodge and weave.
You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that Lionel pulled a prank on me by sending you three over here.
That's not entirely out of the question.
Okay, Peacekeeper.
Well, I mean, I'm not rude, so.
Peacekeeper, Marko and I are two of the three investigators that Lionel sent. These two are
Yeah.
new.
Our third, Zana.
Mm-hmm.
She seems to be elsewhere at the moment, but she should be back.
So I'm not your friend?
That's not what I said. That is not what I said at all. I'm just saying you're new to this, so if the Peacekeeper had any doubts, I just wanted to let her know that.
Who says I've never investigated before?
As far as I know, you haven't. I could be totally wrong about that, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
It's really mean to just assume.
Okay,
The
Marko, do you need help?
The Peacekeeper says, the fact of the matter is, I can honestly use as much help as you can offer. I'm not in a position to quibble over people's accomplishments or whether or not they fit a certain job. You ask the professionals, I don't belong being Peacekeeper of a place like Evren, but here I am.
And you look amazing doing it.
She shrugs.
Oh, and you're humble. Oh!
I got a 17 on investigation.
Okay.
Miraculously.
Marko, with a 17, you're searching the surrounding area, and the ground is comprised of well-kept cobblestones and paving stones. And the most notable thing about them is that they are extraordinarily clean. The street, with the obvious exception of the blood that has pooled by the head of the deceased, all of the paving and cobblestones around you are very strangely clean, as though that is a pointed thing where the street is very well maintained and well kept.
Excuse me, Miss Wilder, are there cleaning crews that come through at night? Or any sort of initiative to keep the streets, sanitary?
Remind me what your name is?
Marko Greatheart.
Right, so, Marko, in essence, you're onto it, alright? This city has a reputation to uphold, and even though I think it's a little bit silly, they go through to great lengths to make sure that they keep the streets looking nice and clean. So every once in a while, a few times a week, crews will come through, they'll take care of the garden where the 3 fountains are, they'll take care of the trees, and they also come through to make sure that the cobblestones and the paving stones look really nice and don't get too filthy.
And these crews, they go through at night?
Oh no, never at night. How would they see what they're doing?
True. They definitely would have noticed the body.
Evren, what were you doing?
Sorry.
Sorry. Evren, I thought you said a while ago what you were doing. Did you say you were helping Marko?
I was gonna say after Melina and Burrow started arguing and pushing each other, she probably would have, to prevent herself from going off on people, she would have went to help Marko look around.
Okay. Did you make an investigation roll as well?
I did not. I can do that though. Investigation. Nat 20.
Nick and Annie do this. Oh, nat 20. Nick and Annie, both of you roll investigation checks.
Like that.
And then hold your rolls and we'll get to you. Evren, with that roll, you would recall that the Peacekeeper said that this dead fella took a tumble off of a balcony. And with your roll, you look at where the body is, and you look up into the sky from where you're standing, and you see that there is a large structure with a balcony that juts out. And it's quite a few floors up.
I think she would just stare at that for a minute. Is that worth investigating? She'll just kind of point up towards it to tell the others. That might be it.
Sorry, real quick. Would I have heard that conversation before, where they were talking about the street cleaning?
Yeah, I would say that was loud enough that you would have been able to hear it. It's not like the Peacekeeper was being super secretive about it, which as a student you would know that is in fact like a fact, that every once in a while road crews come through and just keep things nice and clean. There are some street sweepers and things of that nature.
And didn't they say this was supposed to happen last night?
This did happen last night, yes. And you were also told that they have somebody in custody who they think is a suspect, an inebriated orc who found the body.
Well, this brings up an issue. You mentioned the streets are cleaned in the morning, but if this happened last night, surely the crews would have seen this.
Right, exactly what I'm getting at.
Oh, the street sweepers aren't out nearly as early as that orc fellow was out and about. He was out, believe I was woken just a little bit after the 4th hour in the morning. And they locked him up straight away for questioning. So I was roused before dawn, before the street sweepers would have been out at all.
Did the orc say he found him here?
Through the slurs of speech, I was able to divine as much.
So the body wasn't moved.
If you need to speak to him better, I have ways to sober a man.
The Peacekeeper looks at you and she says, "No, where'd be the fun in that?"
You would get accurate information.
I'm making a joke, honey.
Oh, sorry, autism.
Well,
Oh my
I'm
god.
allowed
Is there
to make
any-
those jokes. I have autism.
Annie, or in order, Nick, what was your roll for investigation?
13, kind of mediocre.
13. With a 13, you look at this body, and with a cursory roll, a roll of that number, you can clearly see that the corpse is of a human man who is wearing, like, night attire, evening wear, what you would wear around the house before you go to bed.
Gotcha. Not something you'd wear out in public.
No.
Real quick, I'd like to actually check. This is gonna be a weird thing. I'd like to check around his lips and his skin, especially his lips, for any discoloration. I'm wondering if poison was used in any
Okay.
sort of way.
Sure, we will do that after Annie's roll is resolved. What did you roll? 2? Okay. With a 2, you would just be sort of listening back and forth to what everybody else is talking about. Nick, you're specifically trying to examine the face of the deceased. Annie, I believe earlier, before Burroughs walked up, you said that you were trying to investigate his head as well. So why don't both of you make investigation rolls? Actually, here's what we're going to do. Nick, roll investigation with advantage, because Melina is also investigating the deceased's head.
Ignore the 13 I rolled then.
Oh God. Okay, I rolled a 4 and a 1, so that's an 11. I've got +7 investigation, so I'd be an 11 on the 4.
Okay. With that, you would approach, and you can't really tell without moving the body, because this figure is wearing a hood that is down, and his face, despite the icon that you're seeing on the screen, he is lying face down on the ground. So the only way that you'd be able to investigate whether or not he's been poisoned would be to have them flip the body over.
Is the identity of the victim publicly known?
You heard from the council that it was somebody named Craddock, and you could always ask the Peacekeeper.
Because he's a member of that secret society, but that's not common knowledge.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I will go up and ask the Peacekeeper. I'd like to ask her if the identity of the victim has been determined by the peacekeeping force yet.
Yes, last night when I was awoken by my soldiers, I came out here, had a quick chat with our drunk orc friend, had him marched off for questioning, and determined that the deceased was one Hiram Craddock.
Dressed in night clothes. My first thought would be he was killed elsewhere and dumped here. But more information will be needed.
I don't know how many corpses you've seen splayed out from fallen from high places. It seems pretty evident to me that this fella hit the ground traveling at high speeds.
I never said he didn't, but it's possible he was killed elsewhere and then dumped, perhaps to...
Dropped from the balcony, maybe?
So
perhaps it would be prudent to investigate his home.
Dropped from the balcony, so it looked like it was a trip and fall.
Exactly.
What I
You're
just
smarter
said,
than you look.
But okay.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you, Evren.
Okay, well
I went like this because you're smart.
Okay, the way you said it, I'm sorry. It didn't sound like you were agreeing. Just shut up.
Well, I was.
But yeah, that balcony up there. And she'll kind of point to the one she saw earlier. That might be the one we need to look at.
the Peacekeeper would nod, and she says, "It's customary to investigate this sort of thing, especially since it would appear as though that was probably where our deceased friend here fell from. You all could come with me as I get into his penthouse here in a moment. Had to go fetch the locksmith to find a skeleton key so we can get in."
I have a question for you.
Yes, of
Has
course.
there been any other people dying like this? Or
Not like
Why would-
this, exactly, but the reason why I reached out to Lionel out in
Hmm.
Montrace was because we did have two, what I would call mysterious deaths over the past month and a half.
so this makes 3. So we must be dealing with a serial killer. That's awesome. I've always wanted to hunt somebody that's doing bad. Yay!
The Soph looks at you quizzically and says, "Well, the first one was a drowning. The second one was an accidental immolation. And this fella here seemingly fell from a balcony, so I don't really see the connection there, but, think positive.
They're
Maybe
all-
it's a serial killer."
They're all dying. That's the connection.
Well, we're getting to the bottom of it one way or another.
She waves over one of the guards at the perimeters and says, Would you all step back just a moment?"
Of course. Can I
She-
pop up Divine Sense just to have it out?
Sure. She waves a guard over and she says, "Flip him over." And this guard very carefully rolls the body. And so now you can see the face of the deceased. And why don't all of you make investigation rolls?
Another 4. 11.
16.
Ah, 2.
Okay. So we got 16.
Mhm.
Was that you, Evren?
That was me.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I got 13. And then
All right.
64? Question mark?
11. I got 4 plus 7.
11 and
All right. Evren,
Mhm.
when they flip this body over, the hood of the deceased sort of stays in place and they rotate the body and the head falls free of the hood. And with your roll, you can see that the head of the victim is very, very closely shaven head.
Mhm.
Not a lot of hair there. And you would notice with a 16 that there is a fairly pronounced bruise right at the base of the skull.
Mm. That right there. See that? And she'll point towards it. He was hit on the back of the head with something.
The Peacekeeper walks around where you're standing
Mhm.
and she bends down and she looks at you, Evren, and says, "Might be." Melina, with your roll, with a 13, something that is not super difficult to spot, you can see that now that the deceased is faced up and forward, you see that right about where the kneecaps would be on the front of this nightgown, there are 2 patches of moss that are sort of stuck on the delicate embroidery work of this nightgown, right where the kneecaps are.
I think this guy was kneeling or something. See? And I point out the moss.
Oh, yeah. What does that
Kneeling,
tell us?
got hit in the back of the head. Maybe.
The Peacekeeper would say, "Where's that locksmith at?" And then one of the other guards says, "He's on his way." "All right, let's get up to the penthouse. Tell him to meet us there." And she would walk with you guys into the building. This will all be done theater of the mind. I don't have panels for this. But you guys travel up a staircase that winds up and up and up and up and up. And it's not until you reach the 8th floor that you would arrive at a closed door, a very ornate dark blue door. And the Peacekeeper just reflexively goes to try the handle, locked. And she's like, I figured just about as much.
Does my divine sense anything, or is it?
Can you tell me what exactly divine sense does?
Let me.
Or you can put the text in the chat for me.
You can detect a bunch
Yeah,
of
that's what I would.
magic types or enemy types.
I think it's. Let me 1 second. Sorry, it's. I keep seeing divine smite and thinking it's divine sense and clicking on it. And that's not right.
Please don't divine smite the door.
No. No. Why did it disappear? Sorry. Mind my
You're good.
curse words. Divine. Divine sense, Paladin. Can I not? Okay. There you go.
All right, let me just get a gander at this. Okay. All right. Your divine sense would not sense any enemies behind the door.
Okay.
It's basically, if you would imagine magic as a spectrum of colors, everything that you sense beyond the door seems very neutral.
Awesome. So
I would say that you would register some stuff, but it's kind of like magical static behind the door. No strong impressions here or there.
okay. Awesome.
Not long after, a locksmith would appear going up the steps, and this lady with just like 5 different key rings on her belt walks forward, and she kneels down and she puts the little wedge-shaped thing in there and starts messing around with the lock until finally she clicks something right into place. The tumblers give. She stands up and opens the door and pushes it in to reveal the room of Hiram Craddock. And she would tip her hat to the Peacekeeper and walk back down the stairs. Peacekeeper would stride in first with her saber drawn and would sort of clear the room, just sort of make sure that nothing else was going on. This is kind of like a studio apartment type deal, so there's not like tons of rooms. It's like a huge main room and maybe like a bathroom and a closet, but for the most part, everything's pretty open. And without having to roll for this, you can just see that whoever Hiram Craddock was, he must have been some sort of academic. You just see tomes, parchments, ink, a work table with a lot of apothecary potion-making supplies, and some memorabilia that is from the Mage College, and things with crests on it that somebody like you, Burrows, you would recognize that, oh, this guy definitely went to the Mage College. Like, you can just see from all the stuff he has in the penthouse. But the most prominent area that your eyes are drawn to is, of course, the balcony. Which, when you guys step out that direction, following behind the Peacekeeper, you guys would step out into the open air, and firstly, the door that leads to the balcony is open. That's the first thing that you would notice. And all 4 of you make investigation checks with advantage.
Hey!
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. First one's a 16. Second one is a 23.
Okay.
I got a six.
Wow.
Whoa, my
Six.
English.
That's sad.
I got a I got a 17. My brain is so.
Yeah.
Mitch, what did you get?
6.
Okay, Natalie.
Also 6.
Okay. So,
Oh no.
Melina, you and Burrows walk forward, and since you spotted something similar, let's do Nick first. Nick, since you rolled the highest, you step out there, and you can see that there is a table with a glass top that is on its side. It's been shattered. Annie, as Melina, you would see that on this stone wall of this balcony that's just open to the sky, it is covered in a thick layer of moss. And there are 2 patches right up against the wall where the moss has been stripped off. Just 2 bald spots on this mossy wall. And between the 2 of you, with your rolls, we will say that Burrows, you would notice this first because of the height that this is. But with your vantage point lower to the ground, as Melina starts moving towards this mossy wall, off to the right-hand side, you would see that there is some sort of shape that has been scratched into the moss off to the right.
Yeah, I'm immediately checking that out, seeing what that is, a closer look.
Okay. You would walk forward, and this shape is a triangle with a straight line that cuts through closer to the top of the triangle.
All right. Would I recognize this symbol from any of my studies, or is this entirely new to me?
Make a history check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage, goodness. All right, first one is a 17. Second one is a 22, so 17.
Okay.
Wow.
With a 17, you have done a lot of classes at the school. And based on which field of magic you're working with or which fields of research you're working with, there's always the obligatory symbology stuff that you have to learn that correlates to that school of magic. Different schools of magic or research have their different marks and denotations for different things. All that you would be able to discern from this is that this is some sort of alchemical symbol. But you don't know what it stands for, and that's all you would know.
Gotcha.
Soph Wilder would walk up as you guys sort of fan out across this open area. And she would also look down at the broken table, sees Melina looking at the moss, and she just sort of makes a couple circles just walking around. And she places her hands very, very carefully on the stones at the edge, careful not to disturb the moss that Melina's looking at, and peers over the edge and just looks down at the direction of the body. And she says, "Oh, there's not a doubt in my mind that he fell from here."
Yeah, in his own study. I don't think I've had anything even close to a motive yet. Just going off of this scene.
Can I look for something that could have been used to hit somebody in the back of the head?
Sure, you can make an investigation roll if you're looking for any objects on the balcony. Absolutely.
A 12. I'm so good at investigating, guys.
You look around, but besides the broken table, you don't see anything else out on this balcony.
Is there a way to climb up this wall?
Are you asking that to the Peacekeeper?
No, I'm asking that to you, but then
Okay.
now that I think about it, maybe I should just ask the Peacekeeper about it.
If you were asked that in character, the Peacekeeper would look down, look at the side of this building. It's an upscale building, not super textured, as modern as a fantasy setting building can be. So it doesn't have a lot of climbable surfaces necessarily. And she looks down and she shakes her head and says, I'm no rock climbing expert by any means, but I reckon the only way that somebody could gain access to this balcony is either by coming in through the door or dropping in from above.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out why there is 2 patches missing here, and then he has patches on his knees.
Wait a minute, what was that? What about the patches?
He has mossy patches like he was kneeling or something, and they're on his knees. Well, like the hem of his outfit.
Do you gesture to the patches on the wall that are missing?
Yeah.
Okay. She would walk over there and squat down. Again, it's much lower than she's looking. She's looking over that, and she says, Good eye. Well, I think this just confirms it. You, and she points at you, Evren, and says, You found the bruising on the back of his head, yes? All right, so let's say that I'm the deceased, right? I'm standing out on my balcony, taking in the night air. Then someone hits me on the back of the head. I go forward, my knees scrape against the moss, and I go over. That broken table, though, looking at you, Burrows, that might indicate that there was some kind of struggle up here.
Which would make the idea that he was ambushed more suspect.
Certainly helps to eliminate the idea of an accident. Between the bruising and the broken table, I'd wager it's a safe bet.
Yes, a blow to the head would imply that it was out of nowhere, but the table implies a struggle. Though I suppose anything's possible.
Wait, maybe there was a struggle, and then he thinks he's fine. And then the person goes inside, grabs something, and whacks him, and he falls.
Is it possible he could have known the attacker? Maybe it's someone he knew, or...
Like I said, I'm not sure. I don't know if they were able to gain access through his penthouse or some other way, but clearly they got the jump on him either way. He was in his night clothes after all. I don't think he was necessarily in a hosting mood.
Alright, does he have a laboratory that we saw? Considering he's an alchemist?
She would spin back around and look in there and give a cursory look and says, all these academic types have some sort of an odd workstation with strange chemicals they probably ought not to have.
I'd like to go check out his little, lab area, and I'd like to see what his expertise was in alchemy, if I could figure that out.
Yeah, so you can go to that workstation, and however many of you can follow Burrows back inside. The Peacekeeper would yell down from the balcony towards the guards that are around the body, and she would say, Go find the Recollector and bring him up here right away. And one of the guards leaves the scene of the crime. And she just stands there and she pulls out a small little leather-bound notebook and starts making some notes while she's standing on the balcony. Yeah, any of you guys can go back inside and you can make new, fresh investigation rolls for the interior of the penthouse.
I would like to
Epic.
do that, yes.
Oh,
A
definitely.
Let's
nat
go.
20.
Nat 20,
I
27.
also nat 20'd.
17.
Very nice.
16.
16. Okay. So we're going to go in reverse order on this one. Marko, with a 16, you would walk into the room and you can see that there is one of everything a person would need who's living by themselves. So a bed big enough for one person, you know, the remnants of some food and some drink on the table, just one table setting. But all of this, as you're looking around the penthouse, it very clearly would indicate that this gentleman lived here by himself. Evren, with a 17, you would walk into the room and you would look around. Is there a specific area in the penthouse? You know, like Burroughs is looking towards like the workstation or like the potion brewing area. Is there a certain area that Evren's looking, or are you just generally investigating the room?
I think if there's like any evidence of what he might have been doing, like, because he was in his robes, right? Like, was he like reading books, or was he writing in a journal, or like something, some activity he was doing before he was attacked?
Right, there's a hearth that there is just the embers of, you know, a fire left. There's barely anything left there. And there's a large chair facing towards the hearth, and there's a tiny little like wood table off to one side, and there is a book closed with a bookmark ribbon out, and there is like an empty shot glass next to it.
Can I look at the book that he was reading, presumably reading?
Sure, you can look at the book. The book, it looks like a textbook. It looks like an academic book.
Wow. Okay.
And the title is The Academic's Guide of Nostrian Ore. O-R-E.
Okay. Huh. Interesting. I'll definitely make a mental note of that.
Let's see. Who rolled the second highest? Both of you guys rolled nat 20s. So, here's what we'll do. The two of you walk to the workstation, and you see lots of papers strewn about with symbols you don't recognize. It looks like equations where several symbols are sort of stacked on top of each other or beside each other, and there are lines drawn underneath or scratched out or things of that nature, and feverish notes in the margins of these pages. But with both of you rolling that high, you would find hidden amongst the pieces of paper, right near the top, there is a piece of paper with an equation, a sequence of symbols circled over multiple times with giant letters underneath that says potential. Underline, underline, underline.
Melina grabs the paper and holds it up.
So you're showing it to the room, to the others?
Yes.
That would bring the Peacekeeper over to the desk area. And she says, oh, just being in proximity to some of this stuff makes me shiver. Thinks about my days in school.
I never went to school, so...
Truly dark days indeed. What's that you're holding?
It looks like some kind of equation, and it says potential under it.
As you say that, the door that is open, since you guys walked in, a figure strides into the room with a massive tome tucked under his arm. And this figure is medium height, medium build, dark hair, and he walks in and he looks in the direction of the Peacekeeper, whose back is to the door because she's looking at this paper, and he says, "Well, you called. I'm here to oblige." And she turns around and says, "It's about time you got here. What took you so long?" He says, "I was across town when they called me, said there was a problem. Sorry I don't walk near as fast as you do." She smiles, and she walks over to him, and she extends a hand for a handshake, which he takes, and they shake hands together. And she gestures to this figure and addresses you four investigators. And she says, "This scruffy-looking nonsense wearing a suit is my associate, the Recollector, Geiger Peck." And he just looks at all of you and says, "Pleased to meet you. I already saw the stiff down there." She says, "Aye, but there's more to see up here." Geiger starts walking around the room, and he's looking very slowly. Like when you look at some people's eyes when they're looking at someone or something, their eyes sort of go all over the place. Geiger Peck will stand in a spot in the room and turn his head at one speed and his eyes in another, and is just very slowly looking at the entire room. Starting up high on one wall, working his way down all the way to the floor. And he does this from multiple angles while you guys are investigating this work area. And the Peacekeeper says, "Four of you are lucky. It's not everybody who gets to see a Recollector at work."
What is a Recollector?
So, Recollectors, all of a sudden you hear Geiger say, "Well, most of the time they're underpaid." And she says, "Oh, shut it. You be quiet." And he again smiles. You can tell that this is probably ribbing that they do to each other all the time. And she says, "Geiger's got a miraculous memory. He can remember up to 10, 11 years back. And so long as he keeps his mind sharp and stays out of the bottle," she says loudly, she says, "that means you give him some paper, some charcoal, and maybe a day, maybe half a day, depending on how motivated he is, and he can recreate the scene of the crime, just the way he saw it."
That's impressive.
"People with his talents are extremely useful to Nova Nostria for solving crimes like this."
Are they common, those kind of people, or are they more like it's
Very rare. Very rare.
Is it
Most
like
of them end up going into not so legal professions.
I was about to ask. Is it like rare in the sense that you can get them, or is it like rare in the sense you can't find them? They're like, "I need to hide the fact that I have this gift."
I'd say it's a little of each. I would say the number of people who realize that they have the memory capacity to be a Recollector is pretty low. Some people just think that they're good at remembering things. But there are very few people who make their living as a Recollector who don't end up working for the Empire in some way, shape, or form. It's just such a rare gift. You'd hate to see it wasted.
Yeah.
He would step out onto the balcony and do the same thing. would look around very slowly. And she would say, I'm gonna have to close up the penthouse soon. This is now an active crime scene. Based on everything we've seen so far, and based on the points you all have made, it definitely looks like this fella didn't just fall off the balcony by accident.
Yeah. What about
Any
this?
of you see anything else I should be aware of?
I think he was reading a book about ore, Nostrian ore. It's some textbook that said The Academic's Guide to Nostrian Ore by his, she'll point to where she saw it by his chair.
Sounds like a real page-turner.
Yeah, I know, right? But I don't know if that's important, but I thought I'd bring it up just in case. There's a bookmark in it. Maybe whatever page he was on could be useful somehow.
She looks at you. Looks like she's trying to decide something.
Mm-hmm.
Then walks over to the little table where the book is, and she picks it up, and she opens the book to where the bookmark was placed. And she says, How to spot the difference between gold and fool's gold. Riveting stuff. I'm
Very.
surprised this gentleman's reading material didn't kill him. She closes the book and put it on the table.
Do you want this? I hold like the paper.
Oh, that won't be necessary. We'll keep the room just as we found it. You put that back on the desk. The Recollector will take care of it. I've already made a note of what it said.
Max, when
Can
you
I put it?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
can I like wait? Can I put it back, but like try to like pick it back up secretly and put it in my pocket?
Sure, you can make a sleight of hand check as the Peacekeeper turns her back to go talk to Geiger out on the balcony.
Give me good juju, guys.
Okay.
So basically what this is
12.
Okay, the Peacekeeper has stepped out of the room. I'm going to say that this was a roll to see whether any other of your party noticed what you did. So with a 12, I'm going to say, based on where everybody was in the room... No, everybody sees you do it. Because you just asked the question about it. So all of them see you place the paper on top of the desk, Peacekeeper walks away, and then you slide it off the surface of the desk and down off the table.
And I am gonna pocket that.
Okay.
Trying to decide.
Well, I think I'm done here.
You hear some commotion out on the balcony, and you see that the Peacekeeper and Geiger are looking at the weird symbol scratched into the moss, and they're both looking at it quizzically.
Guys, are you good? Melina comes out.
Geiger's looking at it and says, Well, I feel like I've seen something like this before, but I just don't know where. And the Peacekeeper says, I'm not sure what this is.
What are we looking at? And then I think Everett's gonna go look too. Of curiosity.
It's a symbol. I'm not sure what that means at all.
Is it arcane in nature? Is it a magic symbol?
Maybe if you write it down, Evren, it might do something. You're magic, aren't you?
Druidic magic. If it's druidic in nature, then yeah. But if it's like...
Well, we don't know if it's not, and it's carved into moss, so it could be.
I think Evren's gonna go into her little book, her little notebook, and she's gonna tear out a piece of paper, and then she's gonna, like, kind of start sketching the rune that she sees on the moss.
Yeah, so again, to describe it, as I described it to Burrows, it is a triangle with a line through it,
Mm-hmm.
so that way it's kind of like if you took a pyramid and you sliced off like near the top part of it, basically. There's just a line running through.
Is it like horizontally cut through or like
Yep.
okay.
Horizontally cut through.
Gotcha. Sorry, I'm actually drawing it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she sketches that onto the piece of paper and she just kind of does she recognize it from anything?
I can confidently say that a druid would not.
Okay.
Would not.
Got it.
The only other thing I can say about the symbol, honestly, is that based on how it was made, Burrows, it's fairly obvious to you that this was not... Whoever put this symbol there did not do it in secret, with the objective being to hide that it was there. This is very blatantly there. Is big enough that you can see it. Like, if you get close to that wall, you can see it.
It's an alchemical symbol. I don't believe you would have seen it if you were not studied in the arts.
Both the Peacekeeper and Geiger whip their heads around at you, and she says, "Well, you are an egghead from the college, so I reckon you should know. Do you know what this is?"
Well, it's not something I've majored in, but I'm sure it would not be difficult to find a glossary or some other sort of index in his library that might allow us to discern what the meaning is.
All right, we'll make a note of it. I think I can do you one better, though, than some sort of an old glossary, though. But we won't get a chance to do what I'm thinking until tomorrow. For now, I'm gonna lock down the crime scene. Why don't you all... I don't know. You can go about your business for the day, I suppose. There's not much else we can do now until I have the opportunity to look more into that symbol. It'll take me a while to cross-reference some things, you see.
How far away are the other casualties, the other victims? The drowning and the immolation?
Oh, those crime scenes are littered throughout the city. Not close.
Were there any symbols like this at those crime scenes? Any alchemical symbols or?
The Peacekeeper would stare for a second, then look at Geiger, and would say, "I know that look. It means a headache for me for the next 3 days, probably. All right, I can get you some sketches of those old crime scenes, but it's gonna take me a minute. I've got some other casework I'm doing."
Sorry, I'm just trying to make some kind of connection. I just was curious if there's...
The Peacekeeper looks at you, Evren, and says, No, don't you apologize. It's his job. Don't let him get you down moaning." Geiger would sort of bow to your group and leave the room and say, "I don't know about where all of you are going, but I'm probably going to the Blind Man's Bailey for a drink, and then I'm off to the office to start those sketches."
Sounds nice. Could go for something if we have nothing else to do.
Well, I want a drink.
I definitely would like to keep looking into these other cases for any sort of connections.
There's got to be some connection. This can't just be random.
I would agree with our large friend over here. I believe it's the perfect time to follow up on the other crime scenes. But you're free to go off cavorting and drinking if you'd like.
Why are you making it sound like we're being
First of all-
irresponsible?
First of all, I do better on the sketches when I have just a little bit of something, just so you know. Second of all, I can work on it at any time. It just takes a while for the final images to come out, especially since the crime scene isn't just from one angle. I gotta make multiple sketches. But I'm gonna start my sketches at the Blind Man's Bailey. If you want to see any sketches today, that's where I'll be.
I have a question for you, Burrows.
And
Do you make friends easy?
I don't make friends, period.
Clearly.
I can tell.
Well, I
You kinda
appreciate that we've gotten it out of the
soured
way
and
soon enough.
You too.
He's being
Yeah.
rude.
I'm sorry, we're investigating a crime scene, and your priorities are my manners.
Actually, that's the least of my
Yes.
priorities right now, but I'm just making it a point because you're making it a
You
point.
just decided to come on to our investigation, first of all.
This is
Ladies,
my investigation. If it's
No,
yours as
no.
well, then more the displeasure. And I did not choose to. This is matters beyond my control.
Were you hired by the Peacekeeper?
I prefer the term coerced.
Well, we were hired. We're here because we want to be.
Oh, wonderful. So you're getting paid.
No. I just want to catch serial killers. That's fun.
look, what I think my companions are trying to say, Mr. Burrows, is that we want to be fully committed to this investigation. No time like the present. We should not waste any moment. But it is also important to take breaks. Perhaps we can grab some drinks on the way over to our next scene.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast.
Very
Adam,
well.
You're the best.
Lighten the edge.
It seems like we'll be working together for some time, so I suppose we should at least develop a working relationship.
Well,
Yeah,
that's just
you
it.
should.
We'd be working together. Which means you might get a share. After all, I'm not in it for the money. I'm more in it for the glory, really.
I'm in it for hanging out with people that are fun. I look at the two except Burrows.
Burrows, go ahead and when Marko says, I'm not in this for the money, you, in a very just a split second, remember the ink bottle with the weird metal ring that you have that you forgot to bring out earlier today. And that
Yeah, I
now
didn't get a chance
remember.
to.
Yep. And to be fair, yeah, they didn't give you much breathing room to do that.
I was looking for a chance to hey, I got this. Oh, no, okay, for sending me out.
No.
Got it.
Yep, but you remember that you have it, and it's in your pocket. That was with you when you left today, so keep that in mind. But yeah, so Geiger would walk out of the room, and the Peacekeeper would say, I'm just gonna lock this down, make sure nobody else snoops in.
I have a question. Just because. Where was the... Could you give us an exact location of the other two?
That would probably be around the same time that you get your sketches, one at a time, you see. We have to go back, consult the files on where the bodies were, etc. We keep notes of the crime scenes, I take notes. Between that and Geiger's sketches, we can sort of recreate the crimes, but in terms of the addresses of where they took place, I don't know those off the top of my head. I'd have to go consult my files back at the office.
Awesome. Well, whenever you can.
If you don't mind me asking a question, what's the conviction rate here? With someone as talented as Geiger, that ability, I should assume you have no problem catching the perpetrator for most crimes.
Geiger's ability to recreate scenes of crimes is helpful for some crimes, you understand, but not all crimes. But things of this nature, we've had great success with Geiger on our team.
Excellent, then. It seems like this matter will be solved before we have to do anything much at all. Simply let our man do his work.
She would nod, and she would sort of like gently like urge you guys towards the door so she could lock it up. And a guard goes up the stairs, and she says, "Secure the room, make sure nobody goes in." And they start securing the door and posting a guard there. And as you guys reach the ground floor and you walk out of the building, the Peacekeeper would walk off in a different direction than Geiger's going. Geiger's making a beeline for the blind man's bailey.
I suppose we'll see him at the end of the day.
It is actually, past midday at this point, and the city itself, it takes you a little bit to walk here from here to there. So it's starting to it's between afternoon and evening time. Sort of a nebulous amount of time. So past midday.
Think really quick. But you guys could continue. I'm just checking something.
Looks like we only have time for about one more stop today.
Geiger looks over his shoulder and says, "Are you all coming or what?"
I'm right behind you.
Yeah, we don't have the address of the crime scene, so I think all we can do is really follow him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
I have a question, just really quick.
Yeah, shoot.
Would a symbol be considered an object?
No.
Okay. Would a paper with stuff on it be considered an object?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Like, if I want to look for papers with the same formula, can I do it?
What is the verbiage of the thing that you're trying to do? Is this find object or something like that?
Yeah.
Locate object.
Yeah.
What's the language of that spell?
It says, describe or name an object that is familiar to you. You sense the direction, the object's location, if that object is within 1,000 feet of you. If the object is in motion, you know which direction its movement is.
Okay, that is a very interesting question. So you are trying to use this spell to see if there are other places that have this formula. That's interesting. Yes. I would say that, unfortunately, the specific handwriting that is on this page makes this object unique on an atomic level. Like, I'll give you that you can sense that page, that specific page that has that, equation on it, but the only thing that you would be able to sense is the one in your pocket. Like, this one seems one of a kind. Whatever this is, you're not sensing a myriad of others. Whatever this paper is unique. Not the paper itself, but I'm... Yeah, go ahead.
So I can put it on someone and know where they go.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I'd like to ask Geiger if the peacekeeping force, if they have anyone on the force who can use Speak with Dead. Unfortunately, I did not take that spell, so if they do not, I'll have to go out and try to get it in my spell book.
How disrespectful that would be, but I was thinking about that too.
Yeah. You so you want to ask Geiger that?
Yeah, he seems like that. His power is, really useful. I wonder if there's anyone on, that's sort of a similar vibe of using magic to significantly ease up the investigation process.
Yeah. Geiger would say, "Well, that's a good question. I reckon there are a couple people on the Peacekeeper's special force that know that spell. Only thing is, we really only use that when necessary. There's a lot of religious taboo, you understand, with the church being right there. It's not usually something we do. Makes people awful nervy. Necromancy, you understand, it's not something that's taken very lightly. And since between the Peacekeeper and what y'all found, I don't think this fella'd be able to tell you anything y'all didn't find already. Got hit from behind, fell off, died. I really don't think that would have helped you much.
I'm trying to. Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
I mean, we make sure to mark where the remains of the deceased go, so worst case scenario, if it remains unsolved long enough, we can always dig them back up and ask, but again, that's last resort. And that sort of disturbing of the peace with that sort of thing should only ever be done for the most important case imaginable.
And what's that?
Oh, I don't even know why you'd whip a spell out like that unless it was, I don't know, the murder of somebody extremely important.
Well, everybody's important.
Well,
Debatable.
unfortunately,
So right.
not in the eyes of the law, my friend. But I see your point. Geiger would keep walking, and you would notice that in his right hand he has just a balled up rag that he is sort of meticulously squeezing and like rotating his wrist sort of in circles. And you could discern that he's probably getting his drawing hand ready, that he's doing some exercises. And he would walk to the blind man's bailey, which when you enter, Cambridge Hess from behind the counter would hear the bell ring at the door and would turn in the direction that you all are entering and would say, "What can I do for you? Do I know you?" And Geiger would say, "Yeah, it's just me, old buddy. I'm just here for the usual." And Cambridge would smile, nod, and stops, listens for a second, says, "Well, you're not by yourself." And then Geiger says, "No, I reckon not. These ones, I don't know, investigators from out of town or something like that."
Hi.
Cambridge would
Hey.
turn his face in that direction and say, "Oh wait, I recognize some of you."
Yeah, we were here not too long ago.
The other night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what I thought. And he would go back behind the counter and he would say, "Go ahead and place your orders whenever."
Just a honey mead for me.
I will have what she's having.
Probably just whatever can help you sleep better.
Just some tea for me if you have any.
What kind? We got spiced, we got herbal, we got black tea.
I'm feeling adventurous. I'll have the spiced tea today.
Good choice. Geiger would receive the glass that Cambridge sets down and slides down the top of the bar. You get the sense, based on the rhythm that Cambridge is moving, that this is a normal thing. That he knew exactly that if I slide this, Geiger will catch it. And he takes it and he sits down at the table furthest in the back, and he takes out some parchment and he starts drawing with a piece of charcoal. A tray of drinks is pushed toward you guys. There's the tea, there's 2 honey meads, and Marko. For you, Cambridge says, "You know, the bigger voice. Come over here."
All right.
"I can just hear that you're tall based on where your voice is coming from."
Would you like me to sit down?
"Oh, you can sit down at the bar. There's some stools there." And he clasps his hands over the bar and he leans forward and he just says, just staring at you with his completely white eyes, just says, "Having trouble sleeping?
Just a bit.
Something
place.
vexing you?"
Personal stuff. My own mind just working against me is all.
Oh, sometimes the mind makes for a pretty horrible bedmate.
Definitely had a tough time adding anything to the investigation today. I just want to make sure I'm well rested and I can be at my all tomorrow for the sake of the team.
Cambridge stops for a second, and then he looks back at you, and he says, "Your friends, the other investigators, I mean, you like them? They friends with you?"
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're wonderful. Definitely keeps me going.
Well, I don't claim to be an expert at everything. I know drinks. I know people. Just your presence with your friends. That's more than enough. Heck, I can't see my friends when they come in, but just knowing that they're here makes my day better.
That's really kind of you to say. They've told me something to that effect.
It's at this point that all of you guys inside the Blind Man's Bailey would start hearing a commotion coming from the direction of the door. And just then the door flies open, and Zana walks in, being followed by 3 students of the Mage College wearing their uniforms, and they all have notepads and pens and pencils out, and they're all yelling to get Zana's attention. And one of them says, "Oh, ignore them! Please help me with my research paper! Tell me, how do you do it?"
Oh my god. It's an equal opportunity. If I tell them no, I have to tell you no. If I say yes to you, it's not fair.
The young lady who's got her hair up in a ponytail, she says, "My parents are rich. I could give you money. Just tell me about the whole curse lifting thing."
I care not about earthly possessions.
A massive orc student says,
Please, I'm failing my classes.
This is not my problem. You should work hard to get your grade up.
They persist and they get in your face and they circle you. And then from the back of the room, a chair slides back. And Geiger stands up. And he just stares across the room at you, Zana, and at these students. And you just see pity on his face. And Geiger Peck says, "Hey." And the 3 students look over, and he says, "You're Samuel Tash, you're Hilda Stackman, and you're Gruff Bogson, aren't you? I remember your faces from the mock trial that you participated in for school. I was there. I remember your names because you were on that mock jury that took themselves so seriously that the mock trial went on for a month and the presiding judge quit.
Oh my god.
Granted, I didn't like the judge much, but still, you students best be getting back to your classes."
Yeah, everything he
this-
just said.
Those 3 students start just wilt, knowing that they ran into somebody who knows who they are, down to their names.
Mm-hmm.
And they very quickly make their exit from the room. And then Geiger sits back down and just starts sketching again.
You are my favorite.
Good thing.
You are so good and kind.
Oh, it's a good thing you said something because I was about to yell at them. I wasn't gonna be nice.
Geiger
about it.
looks up. Geiger looks up from his sketching and says, "Yeah, I know. I've got a heart of gold." And then he just keeps sketching.
Melina's gonna go sit at his table.
Okay. He's so locked in on what he's doing, he doesn't even really notice you sitting down.
Melina just watches him go. Very interested in the process.
Cambridge would look beyond where you are, Marko, over in the direction of where Zana just came in. And this blind bartender would just say, "Oh, it's strange. Every time I hear you walk in my place, there's always some sort of an odd something fanfare going on."
It just happens with our little group.
You seem very popular.
That's
Definitely
the word for it.
not used to it yet. Wasn't always like that.
Looking in the
even know if that's totally accurate.
looking in the direction of where Zana's standing, he says, "What were they on about?" Gesturing to the door where the students left.
Oh, is he asking me or Marko?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
where have you
This
been?
is the. Well, I've been out and about town. I got a job. It's very important. It's really a fun time. But when people find out that you have super awesome powers, they do not stop asking you about it. They don't even ask me about the cool ones, like the punching fire. They just want to know the cursed objects. It's crazy.
Say that last part again, Zana.
And she said they don't even care about the punching fire, just the cursed objects.
Well,
She's dumb. I ain't taking it back.
sounds like you had another eventful day.
Very. What about you guys?
Oh, we
There was a
investigate
murder.
a crime scene. So,
Oh.
not anything we haven't done before.
Okay, who got killed this time?
Someone named Craddock or something, I think. Lives up in a penthouse.
Got hit in the back of the head and fell.
Over a balcony.
That sucks. That's a crappy way to go.
That is a very bad way to go. That is almost as bad way to go as somebody with wolf jaws killing you.
Yeah. I agree. That's crazy.
Huh.
Is that
Bad
something you
memory.
just pulled out of your pocket, or is that from experience?
Oh no. Me and my friends have long stories. Very good ones to
Yep.
tell.
Many.
Well, we
Wolves
have
aren't my favorite
all
anymore.
night, guys. Tell me.
Geiger, who's still sketching, looks over at you, Zana, and says, "You can't tell students at a magic college that you know how to lift curses off things because they will never leave you alone. All of them just want to impress their professors with a big fancy research paper."
Well, if somebody asks what I'm doing here, I have faith in humanity and assume they're a good person.
Oh.
Geiger says, "In Evren? You don't get out much."
No, I'm just on vacation.
She's new here, yeah.
Unfortunately, the academy is filled with nothing but sycophants.
Does that include you?
They're sick of what?
Sickle. Zana, roll a flat d20, and
Okay.
and Burrows, roll a perception check.
Flat 20. Damn.
16.
Okay.
Damn.
With a 16, Zana, are you entering where people are sitting down, like getting to the tables?
Yeah, I'm gonna go sit with my friends.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just cut to the interior picture of Hess, but not the tables. But you sit down at the tables, and as you approach the table where your friends are, Melina's still sitting at Geiger's table while he's drawing. He needs elbow room. But you join the other table, the table right next to Cambridge and Melina.
Mhm.
And as you approach, as Zana approaches, you specifically, in your pocket, you feel a very slight bubbling or fizzing. There's some sort of a sensation going on in your pocket the closer that Zana gets to you.
To me?
Yeah.
Okay. I probably realize that that's the magic ring that I hastily stored in an ink bottle. So I will hurriedly take it out of my pocket and put it on the table.
You just put the ink bottle on the table, which again, from the previous day, the water that had clung to the ring when you threw it in there has separated out the ink from the water in this sort of weird situation where the ring is at the bottom in a tiny little area of water, and then all of the ink has separated itself away from the ring. And you just set that on the table as Zana walks up.
You know what? Perfect timing. If you mentioned you were an expert in dealing with cursed items, I happened to pick this up on a walk the other day.
Slight adjustment. I am not an expert. I just deal with them. I am not smart enough to be expert. But I am good.
Well, I'll take what I can get, I suppose.
So, Zana,
Yes.
you know from the previous day, you were handed that manifest list paper that has all of those missing, unaccounted for cursed items. And besides the ones that are scratched out that you've already taken care of, you would know at a glance from this object on the table that this does look somewhat familiar. You feel like you might have seen something like it on your list.
Okay. Okay, cool. Remind me of the terms. Do I just have to fix them or do I need to retrieve them?
So, you have already made your roll for how this is going to play out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That flat d20. So,
yes. The unfortunate 2.
yes. A 2 nonetheless. But you look at this ring and this little bottle of ink, and you have your paper, and if you were to pull that out, you can see that it does in fact match the illustration. It is a rough iron ring that is very roughly hewn, lots of angular cuts made to it, but the most notable thing is that there is no stone in the setting of this ring.
Right.
And that was one of the items that stuck in your mind when you were handed the list by Professor Spindle the other day. That one was like, oh, that kind of stands out. That's weird.
Yeah.
And when you hold the list up there and you're looking at the ring on the table, it very much is the same ring.
Okay. So, do you want me to hold it or something?
Well, I was hoping you would know what to do with it.
Well, yeah, but I need permission. I don't just go around grabbing people's stuff.
Please, go ahead and take it. Be a load off of my mind.
Okay, she'll take it.
Okay, so this is a ring in a bottle of ink. There's only... How do you want to get the ring out?
Damn, I gotta get a ring out of a bottle.
The bottle is wide enough at the top. It fit in there initially. It's not like a tiny little tapered bottle. This is a more angular bottle that has a little lid to it, or a cork.
I was like, is this one of them trick bottles that they But no. Well, given that there's probably stuff either in or around the bottle, I'm going to get napkins first. And then she'll just try to fish it out of the top of it, maybe like flip it to its side and roll it out.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and roll sleight of hand?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that
There's
you
my
do
button.
this successfully, but it'll just depend on how cleanly you do it.
Yeah. Cool. 19.
Ooh, very nice. With a 19, you deftly tip this ink bottle, and you have the presence of mind to tip the bottle before you uncork. So that way the ring is already right up against the cork. And over the napkins, you open up the bottle, and the ring falls out, and then you close it. And there's some dribbling on the side, but you're able to clean that up with minimal loss of ink. And now the ring is on the napkin.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. We'll just try and like, keep everything cleaned up and then pick up the ring proper.
Okay.
See what's up.
As soon as you touch the ring, going based upon your d20 roll, when you touch this ring, and I mean the millisecond that you touch this ring, you are standing in a house fire. You're inside of a building that is completely engulfed in flames. And the ring, instead of it being on a table in a tavern, it's on a table in the middle of a burning room. And the ring itself is white hot. And you look up and around you, and the floor above you has completely burned through. And you have to shield your eyes from the smoke and the heat. And in the last few milliseconds before you snap back to reality, you hear a few shouts, yells, and screams as a part of the building starts to crumble and fall. And at just that moment where whatever impact would have happened, you blink and you are standing right back where you were and holding the ring. All of a sudden, nothing. It doesn't heat up the way that Burroughs saw it heat up the other day when somebody touched it. It just seems dead in your hands in a magical sense. But I want you to go ahead. Let's see, how would I like to do this? I'm going to make a roll. You're going to take 7 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
But the ring is successfully uncursed.
Oh, that was not fun. That doesn't happen every time, but ouch.
What happened?
Pardon?
Headache. Well, I was holding it, and then the building was on fire, and then the roof fell on me, and then I was here.
Sounds like some kind of vision.
Yeah, maybe you saw what happened to it.
How interesting.
Are you all right?
Well, like, I have a bad headache now, but, like, I'm not dying again.
Again?
What do you mean again?
Oh, you remember that time we got in big fight and, like, I got knocked the fuck out, but then I got better.
Oh, yeah, right.
Just another one of our awesome adventures before you met these guys. Okay, but I think it's okay now. It is very normal ring, besides the fact that it has no stone in it. Which is really weird. Who would buy that? No one would like that as a present.
I would never.
Exactly. It's like, how do you gift this to somebody and be like, hey, here's how much I value you as a person. It's a metal circle with no gem in it.
Yeah, I would definitely be unhappy.
You look at it and be like, yeah, I bet she was too.
Yeah, I'm
You're like,
sure.
It's at this point that the door would swing open yet again. And in the perfect comedic shot, you would look up, presumably where a person would be if they opened up a door, but beyond your table, when the door opens, you don't see anyone, but you hear footsteps from across the table, and until they're in your POV, a very short, bespectacled goblin walks in, wearing some professorial robes, and stomps confidently towards the table where Zana is, and looks wide-eyed at the ring that she's holding, and sort of adjusts his pince nez and looks at it very intriguingly, and taps with his long fingernail the manifest that you have, Zana, and says,
Very productive day. Very, very productive.
I like to pretend I'm good at my job.
Is this a friend of yours, Zana?
Oh yeah, this is the guy that was like, hey, do you want a job like finding things? And I was like, yeah. And so like I find things for him.
Yeah, guard this morning told us you left with someone when we got up. So
This is true. I went off to do my day job.
Spindle work early. Very early.
Ungodly early.
Must find items, bad items, before long.
I'm hurrying. I'm doing my best. This is very delicate work.
he would hold out his hand for the ring.
I shall pass it over.
He holds it in his hand and sort of adjusts it in his palm, sort of flips it around so that way he can see the lack of a stone in the setting, and says, "Where did you find? Where?"
Oh, I found it in a bottle that this guy had.
He looks over at you, Burrows, and says, "Where did you find?"
Well, I found it one of my daily walks next to a fountain.
Fountain. Ring flew far. Ring flew far from Clock Tower to land in Fountain. Flew far.
Oh yeah, it exploded. At least I had to. Okay, so she kind of like lean in and like mutter this. So like, okay, so like when I touched it, it like showed me a building that was on fire. So like it might have exploded in the past. I don't know.
He, again, adjusts the ring in his hand, and now sort of addressing your whole group, says, "Ring was in horrible fire. There were 2 rival watchmakers. One lost contract to build clock tower for school. So, used magic to light competition house on fire.
What a
That's how Ring got slow curse."
Boy,
terrible way to use
Oh.
fire. But
sore
sure.
loser. Wow.
That's not how fire should be
Have you
used.
never
but-
burned something that shouldn't be burned, Evren? Everybody's
I
done a
have.
little bit of arson. Everybody.
I think at least 3 of us.
Not intentionally. No.
So you have done just a little bit of arson.
Geiger
That's-
looks up from his drawings and looks at all of you, and no judgment on his face, just like shock and surprise, kind of like he wasn't listening and just now tuned back into the conversation as you guys are talking about arson.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, it was accident.
Nobody burns
I'm a
things
fire
on
druid. I had to
tables.
practice, okay? I made mistakes. I'm not perfect at it.
Why are you so defensive? Did
I-
you like burn a person or something?
No, I maybe accidentally once, but
Listen,
Oh,
fire
okay.
very sacred to Evren. It's a big deal.
there's just
I
a lot of
probably shouldn't talk about that time I burned a bunch of. It was just papers, but it was like important papers to my dad, kind of. I don't know. And it technically, anyways.
Oh, I have a good story for you for after this event.
Sorry,
I barely remember that time of my life, so
Spindle would look back over at you, Burrows, and would say, "You, student from school?"
I'm a representative for one Edmond Hafburrough. I'm his note taker.
Must respect rule about cursed items for students. And then he rifles around and he pulls out a little bag, a little pouch with 20 gold pieces, and he tosses it on the table in your direction.
Oh,
Ooh.
Zana! By the way, who had the pouch? Oh wait, Eustace had it, didn't he? Speaking of
Yeah.
money. Eustace, speaking of money, Eustace has a pouch of gold for you from the Peacekeeper back in Montrace.
Oh my god, he remembers me? Ooh.
I mean, yeah, all three of us got one, but Eustace has yours because you were working. So
Oh, that's Eustace. He's so reliable. He is such a good friend. And we love him.
oh my gosh, Sana. You should have seen him
he
earlier.
had a crush.
Oh, it was
on the
he was
Peacekeeper.
so red around
He was what?
You've raised Peacekeeper? He was so red, like in the face.
Oh,
He had a crush. For
Yeah.
real.
I'll have to see the Peacekeeper to judge his taste.
Oh, I can also confirm. I'm just saying.
Oh.
She had a good vibe. I'll say that much.
I will have to see
And
this
his
Peacekeeper.
pretty face.
I will not cramp in on Eustace's crush, but I gotta know.
I would.
Geiger
Completely changed things over.
is just staring at you guys over the top of his paper with his mouth fallen open.
Talk about girl talk. Wow.
It's
Amazing.
completely overpowering the situation at hand.
Are you
He,
good, Geiger? Have you never had thoughts about the Peacekeeper ever?
tell me about this Eustace fella.
Oh, he's so nice.
No. Help me out here. Describe him. Just do me a favor.
He's this cool little short guy, and he's very fun. He's good at singing. He got shot out of a cannon once and lived. I didn't think he was going to.
That was sick.
He sounds like an aerodynamic fella.
He is.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
He's a short guy who likes to sing and get shot out of cannons. And he's got
Yes,
a thing
this
for the
was really
Peacekeeper.
funny. Hey, you never know.
You know, I'd like to make a comment, but honestly, I could see it.
Mm,
She likes
Me
cannons
too.
from her pirating days and whatnot.
She was a pirate, guys. I might be
Yeah,
her
she
best friend.
was.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's the woman who beheaded the Pirate King. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, come on, Zana. Keep up.
I'm busy.
I'm kidding. I know.
I'm still learning the lore, man.
Yeah, that scallywag did not see that one coming. She was undercover for 2 years.
Impressive.
It was a long play, that's one thing for sure. Reckon if my family was hurting that way, I'd probably do something similar.
Yeah. You do a lot for families.
She's too hard
Well,
on herself, too. She doesn't think that she deserves her position, but I don't think anybody else would do as good of a job here in Evren as she has.
How long have
Mm.
you worked with her?
Oh, going on about 7 years or so.
Ooh.
Long time.
Yeah.
She
And I mean,
arrested me on a gambling charge. I may or may
Oh.
not have been counting cards at the time. And yeah, well, she put on a disguise and pretended to be a high roller at the table, and then sort of pieced together that I was cheating because I have perfect memory or whatever. But instead of throwing me in jail, she offered me a job, so I took it.
yeah. That's really generous.
Even though sometimes I feel like I'd be making just about as much money in jail as I do as a recollector, but that's besides the point.
You'd rather be in jail?
This is a figure of speech.
No.
You know, times are tough,
His job
Gold
doesn't
doesn't
pay
get you as
him.
far as it used to.
Are tough.
Spindle, who everybody forgot was standing there because of how short he is,
Yeah.
says, "Well, must go back to basement library."
Okay.
Okay.
Have fun with that?
Same time tomorrow, boss man.
Yes, I'll get you.
I know. I won't try to sleep in again.
Before he walks out of the room, he turns to all of you guys, says, "Dead man Craddock, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Researcher, very intelligent. Smart, very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Friend of yours?
Hmm. No, not friend. Can't make friends in basement."
Hey, actually, wait. And I think everyone's gonna get in her bag, and she's gonna pull out the piece of paper with the alchemical mark on it. And be like, "Do you know what this means?"
He would stride up to it, and I'm going to make a roll for Spindle. That is a modified 21.
Oh, nice.
With a 21, Spindle looks at that and says, "Symbol. Alchemist symbol. Definitely.
Do you know what it means? What it was for?
Too many symbols.
Hmm.
Too many alchemical symbols.
Okay.
All bleed together. Should
Okay.
talk to a professional. Burgoyne, maybe."
Who?
Who?
Geiger looks up from his drawing and says, Burgoyne, he's a really smart guy.
Okay. Yeah, we can add him to our list of people to talk to. And she'll put the sketch back in her bag.
He has open schedule. In vault. Locked away for long time.
Oh.
Okay.
Where? Just in jail or what?
Yes, jail. Big jail.
Jail. Okay, awesome. We're gonna have to go to jail.
Oh man.
It's at this point that I will let you guys do any RP stuff that you want to do before you guys go back to the garrison for the evening. So last call for RP.
Last call.
I think.
There's so much to talk about.
I know.
Yeah, I pick one.
Trying to think. Sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, that is how my day goes. I get woken up early by that guy, and we go and do like magic job stuff.
Yeah, well, we're back to investigating murders again. Well, we say
Oh, the
again.
good old day.
Yeah, and we got these two. So like gesture between Burroughs and Melina. helping us.
Salutation.
Oh, are you
Met
guys good at it?
yesterday. Well, I think I am pretty good at it.
It is good to have faith.
I should certainly hope so. I have a lot riding on this.
Not riding on what?
This case.
Like what?
Oh, are we doing the thing where we use words that sometimes mean other things, like you're not actually writing it?
Yes, Zana.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm glad I can notice these things now and not like the last time. So many things were misunderstood. So, like, turn to Melina and be like, so what did you set on fire?
Just like papers.
You
I
said-
was like a
Um,
child, okay, and I barely remember a lot of things from my childhood, but I remember burning papers that were important or something.
to your dad, you said?
My dad at the time, not dad anymore.
Alec, just from the back of your head, just launches into, ugh.
So true.
That's pretty sad. You know, when I got here, I accidentally let a food stand on fire.
Oh my gosh. No way. So I was right about everybody doing a little bit of arson.
I might have accidentally burned one of the mages who were screwing with my clan's forest. Maybe. Only
That's
because they
fine,
pissed me
It sounds
off.
like she deserved it.
She
okay?
did, but they did. What do I know?
You know what? Period. That's so slay.
when I first get here in Mortal Plane, I was practicing my punches. Yeah, it is important context. I am not from here. I am from heaven,
Okay, I got you.
and when I do punches and kicks in heaven, nothing happens. But when I do it here, things light on fire and wind happens.
Ooh. And that's
And
how
I
you
was
accidentally light something on fire.
Yeah, I was not expecting it. I actually screamed kind of loud because I was really scared at first.
Oh.
But the other guy interpreted that as like a battle scream or something.
Oh.
Like, no, why, Zana? Why are you setting my food stand on fire? I don't know, guy. I'm just punching things.
Were
I'm
you
sure you
trying
are
to
very.
punch the food stand?
Well,
Or
no,
was
I
it
was
just
just
in
kind
the
of.
range?
Yeah, I was just practicing a few feet away, and it was in my
Oh.
way.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
It's at this point that Eustace would come through the door and say, "Oh, there you guys are. I figured I'd find you here. It's time to get back to the garrison."
I'm gonna like
Yes.
snap my fingers a few times to get the Geiger's
Geiger.
attention. And be
He
like,
looks up from his
Geiger,
drawing.
Geiger, that's him, that's him.
He looks across the room, looks at Eustace, and then just slow turn looks at all of you and just sort of like laughs to himself and just starts drawing again.
Cool. Zana will do the like move up to him and like two-hand handshake, like, oh, he's so good to see my friend Eustace again.
Oh, good to see you too, Zana. You were up awfully early. I hope you had a good day.
Against my will.
As most of us were, it seems.
I did end up having a good day. They told me that you had money for me.
Oh, yeah. And he reaches into his pocket and hands you a little pouch with 20 gold pieces in it. That's straight from the Peacekeeper himself. He sent it along with me to give to you once we arrived.
Oh,
Little
thank
surprise
you.
for you.
Yeah, you have good history with Peacekeepers.
Well, I mean, not as much as I'd like to. I mean, like, you know, I'm good at my job. I'm really good at my job.
If you
You
keep being good at
are!
your if you keep being good at your job, people will start to notice.
And maybe cute peacekeepers will also start to notice.
Geiger again just looks up from his drawing and again just has to like turn around in his chair to stifle his laughter. And Eustace is like just beat red and
I
just like
feel
yeah. Hey, oh,
I feel like Melina also kind of turns and laughs a little bit.
I think Evren will lean over to Melina and be like, be a little more subtle about it. Don't make it too obvious.
Why? Why?
You don't want to make him uncomfortable. I wouldn't.
Well,
I-
I don't think it makes people uncomfortable. Are you
would like-
uncomfortable right now, sir?
he is just again just
Oh my god.
bright red, just standing there and just like, no. Why would I be?
Exactly. See, Evren?
All right, it's time to get back to the old garrison.
Yeah.
You guys, at least. I saw you the other day, I think, pointing again at Burrows, and is like, aren't you a student or something? Shouldn't you be, like, back at dorms by now?
I don't see how that's any of your concern.
I just wouldn't want you to get in trouble, especially in a town like this with how seriously they take their laws.
I wouldn't worry about him, Eustace. He's on his own schedule.
Oh, well, good for you.
Mm.
I remember the first time I got to pick my own bedtime. That was a good day. All right. Anyways, the rest of us need to be getting back to the garrison, so, guess good night, everyone. Cambridge? See you later? Or, tomorrow I will be in your presence, Cambridge. Cambridge laughs to himself and says, yeah, of course, Eustace. I'll see you tomorrow. And sort of laughs and winks. And
Have a good
with,
night, Eustace, my good friend.
I mean, you're coming along. I mean, you're all coming with him back to the garrison, and he's just, but
Okay.
he stepped out of the room to get away from the awkwardness while he's hitching up the horses to take you guys back to the garrison.
True
Which,
enough.
as you know, you guys head out, sort of trailing a little ways behind Eustace. That leaves Burrows in there by himself, besides Hess and Geiger, who, as they file out of the room, Geiger says out loud to Burrows, well, "They seem like a nice lot."
I was worried there would be no end to them,
Well, they
coming in one by one.
They are a little bit much. That's fair.
Well, I can only hope that they at least have some level of competency when it comes to solving this case.
Who, them? Oh, those out-of-towners? Yeah, no, they patched up a murder case over in Montrace. They come highly recommended from the Peacekeeper there. Said that he couldn't have done it without him.
Well, you certainly wouldn't know that by looking at them now, would you?
No, I guess that's what makes them perfect investigators.
I would hope. I do not want to rush you, but how's the progress in those sketches?
He turns it around, and if this was like a grid, he has like one square that is completely like detailed realistic of like a corner of the room.
That is an incredible talent.
Yeah, I just wish it didn't take me so long. And he drops the pencil and he sort of flexes and squeezes that rag a couple times to loosen the muscles up. I'll get you your sketch by tomorrow. I'll work through the night if I have to.
Most excellent. I wish more people shared your work ethic.
Yeah, and I wish that I shared the pay of other people in other professions, but we can't all get what we want now, can we?
Well, it's unfortunate that this city, and maybe the world at large, seems to reward mediocrity so much, where visionaries such as ourselves are left to wallow.
He looks at you and he says, "A note taker for some little noble princeling with a stick up his butt? You're hovering above society, are you now?"
Forgive me. I've forgotten my place.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be like that. It's just, I don't know. Don't you want friends like them? I mean, if you say that sort of stuff to them, they're not going to be your friend. I don't know how to tell you this. I've been in this bar before. I've seen friendships be made. I've seen romances be made. And I've also seen a lot of enemies be made. Pretty much everything that you have said to those people since you walked in there is fighting words.
If you're worried about my safety, don't be. I can more than handle myself.
I know, you're a student from the Mage College. I reckon you got a couple tricks up your sleeve, but I don't think that you would necessarily match up to all of them against you, is what I'm saying.
Fair point. I don't mean to come across as needlessly antagonistic. I suppose I just have rather unrealistic expectations of others.
Geiger thinks about that, and he's like, "Yeah, in my line of work, I get that too. I get awful disappointed with people when it comes to crimes. The pettier it is, the sadder it makes me. Needless loss of life or needless thievery, that sort of thing, just eats away at me, you know?"
Well, I don't really. I had assumed someone in your line of work would be inured to the sorts of things that come with the job.
When the Peacekeeper goes to a crime scene and sees a fella who fell out of a window and had his brains bashed open on a street, she goes home, she takes some spirits, and she goes to sleep. When I go home, I go to sleep, and I still see the crime scene. So, no, it's not fun. Those images stick around for a long time. That's kind of why I'm in this profession.
Unfortunately, your talent is a double-edged sword. You really should ask for more pay.
Trust me, I do more times than I ought. But that double-edged sword thing you said, that goes for you too there, pal. You got a mighty sharp tongue on you. You use that well. Who knows? You could go far, no matter what profession you take, but you turn that on people who could be your friends. You might end up doing it alone.
If you mean to imply that a sordid bunch of, well, fellows could be my friends, I perhaps don't see it that way, but I'll keep your words in mind and try not to antagonize them more than necessary.
I'd say you'd have reason to be cross with them if they were constantly working against your interests. But even if you look at this from a gambler's perspective, if they're heading the same direction you are, you might as well ride along.
I do dislike being lectured at, especially when the other person makes a good point. I'll keep your words in mind.
Hey, by the way, that thing I said about being a note taker and all that. Again, before I found this job doing something worthwhile, I wasn't a great person, you know, so I'm not in any position to judge how anybody views themselves. But all I say is, if, you know, your employer, boss, master, whatever you want to call them, don't you ever let that person, whoever they are, put you down, all right? Don't let them tell you what you can't be.
My employer is a fine man, though I suppose his ambition may slightly overreach his abilities. But I've spoken too much. I'm sure I'm keeping you from completing your work, and I don't want to be out when curfew's begun, so I suppose I'll head back.
I'll probably see you tomorrow. Safe travels. And he goes back to drawing. And with that, we will end with this epilogue as everybody settles back into their beds for the evening. The tall man, dead upon the pavement, remains in the periphery of your mind. For some of you, this is not the first reminder of life's frailty. 3 of you remember an old shepherd's smile and the smell of fresh bread. And that is where we will end.
Slay.
The good old
Yippee!
bread.